Welcome, one and all, to another episode of Juggz. Willkommen.
Is this the German version?
Ja. What is dein Juggz here? Hello.
I've now found who's going to be my German voiceover in my battle report.
Yeah.
Please not me. I love jolly German man voice.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing.
I was going to get you to do Scottish, but it's not very convincing.
No, it's not as good as my German accent for some reason. Sorry to all my Germans in the chat. Anyway.
The Germans.
Ich liebe
Juggz.
You know what else ich liebe? Robert Symes, how are you doing today?
Wow, both names again. Okay.
That's fine. That wasn't your,
Robert George
your demon
Symes.
name. That was your demon name.
Summon him.
Hello,
Summon
everybody.
him.
Thank you for watching Juggz.
Hi.
I am excited to be here, and importantly, I think everything is working, and that's all I care about. So,
You're going to
And
eat
you
your
know what?
words in that
Peachy's
edit.
Peachy isn't furry.
Oh.
He hasn't got a fun little
I am.
sparkle
Peachy
to
is
him.
a furry.
Yeah. I
He's
am a
discovered
furry.
some things.
Okay,
I'm a
that's-
peach. Peach. I'm not a nectarine, I'm a peach. So I've got a little bit of fuzz. A little bit of fuzz.
Okay, it's a good start.
Good start.
Good start.
Good start.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to, I think it's episode 13.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's not good.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're Skaven.
Lucky.
Really
Lucky.
lucky.
Unless
Is
you're a
that
rat.
the Skaven number?
Yeah, 13.
It's because it looks like a little rat face going,
Yeah. One of the really annoying doesn't
I've
matter.
never noticed
One
that.
of the really annoying what?
They make rules in Games Workshop games. They're like, this Sinesh is the number 7.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool. And then Zeech
this
is number 9. And they just
6?
get better long range stuff.
Depending on what their lucky number is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really funny, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Sinesh is 6. Yeah.
Or is it 9?
Well, it's because it's 69,
Or is it, hey, you did it.
Ew.
Ew.
That's why.
Welcome to the show. So today's show, we are going to do what we normally do, where we're going to go around and find out what everyone's been up to. But in addition, shout out to everyone on the Juggz Patreon. Yeah,
Bonjour.
Jugheads,
Jugheads.
officially.
Juggernauts.
Jugheads.
And also thank you to everyone who ordered Juggz t-shirts. They're almost sold out.
I'm not wearing mine today.
I'm the
Imagine
only
I
one
am.
that cares about it.
Oh, wow.
Shut up, Peachy. You're the
Wow.
best
Oh, I have
influencer.
claimed that we want some rivets just
Can
where the
we
nipples go.
not be touching
Sorry.
That had
Sorry,
a
everyone.
visceral reaction on me. But yeah, we need like googly eyes where the nips are.
Googly
So you can, like,
eyes.
Jump up and down and they
That's
go,
genius.
Yep,
that.
that's, correct. Don't worry. I'll speak to the R&D department.
thank you. Wait,
Lads, could you just...
no.
I got a thumb up. I got a thumb up from the team.
They said no.
Good. Yeah,
Okay.
we're cool.
Okay.
And then we're going to do Q&As from everyone, if that's okay.
Yeah, I love aQ&A.
Q&A is super fun.
I don't know what they are though, so I'm a bit nervous
Oh,
now.
I love Q&As.
Yes, and thankfully I copy and pasted them, so I haven't like...
Do we have a lot?
Yeah, quite a lot. I think it ended up at like 32 questions.
Ooh.
That's
So we don't
cool.
have to necessarily answer all of them.
Well, we could do a brief summary of our weeks.
Yes.
That's okay.
Well, we don't.
Yeah.
No. We're here for specifically only that.
Are we?
Yeah. Every week.
I want
we're-
to answer questions.
That's fine, but we're specifically here every week just to catch up with how you've been doing.
I am.
That's the point of the show.
It is my weekly play date with Peachy, and I do
It's my
enjoy
weekly
that.
play date with both of you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Way-o.
Yeah.
Way-ho.
So who wants to start? Peach, you want to tell us what you've been up to this week?
I've had a great week.
Okay, good.
Have you?
It's been good. Summer holidays, so I have a small boy running around whilst trying to film, which makes it kind of awkward at times. But I discovered with the audio devices you kindly passed on to me, that a lot of the noise he makes, we did a little test the other morning, and I was like, be as loud as you can.
Oh, really?
And it was super loud, and
I
I
must
could hardly
love
hear
that.
him. So it was great. So
Great.
I know that when he's watching TV and getting excited, I won't hear it. So it's good.
That's great.
That's because the
Or
microphone
it
I
doesn't
gave
pick
you.
up on your audio at least.
Yes.
Yes.
That's because the
Right.
microphone I gave you specifically, but like it's a sports casting one.
Oh.
So it's like designed to like
For
be
arenas.
in a stadium
Yeah.
while you're
Amazing.
doing it. Yeah. So that's
And
good.
It's pretty much like Shea Peach is like a stadium. It's
Shea
like a
Peach.
gladiatorial arena. So yeah, the Castle Peach, Shea Peach, whatever we call it.
Young Peach building himself
Chateau
up, little
Peach.
Chris Peach ready to take over. Training. Have you watched the Spartacus?
I've started watching it. Yeah.
Spartacus.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
Oh, sorry,
Rob,
no. I've started watching. I've seen bits of Spartacus, but I started watching Those Who Are About to Die
Yes,
on
the
Amazon.
chariot
that's
one.
What,
Yeah.
yeah. So Rob started. He finished watching Those Who Are About to Die, and he was like,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, I built it
it's got
while
Ramsay
also.
Bolton in it.
I built it while also building my big pigs. I watched it so while building my big pigs for my Age of Sigmar army.
Are we going to talk about?
They're like chariot guys.
Makes sense.
And I was
Blue
like,
team, red team.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, pig team.
Pig team.
Anyway, so I did that.
Are we going to talk about your big pig?
We don't have to talk about it. What do you want to ask?
So I'm going to set it up for
I don't want to
people.
talk about it.
We're going to talk about it a little bit. So Rob has some fun ideas for Age of Sigmar because you can just bring whatever you want now, right?
Pretty much.
So Rob's like, that's really cool. I'm really inspired. I'm going to make an entire list of the big pig miniature. Yeah, the big pigs.
The big pig.
Which is like
more grunters.
Really, really, is that the name of the list?
They're called more grunters.
But that would be
the
really
pig is
fun
called.
name for a list as well.
Yeah.
Because it's more pigs.
It's more pigs, yeah.
So Rob bought all the miniatures. He assembled them. This is like no small task.
No. There's 76 parts on a more grunter.
Wow.
And I built 8.
Yeah.
That's a lot of numbers.
It's a lot of numbers.
Took you like 2 days?
Yeah, about a day and a half.
Yeah.
While I was running an event.
Whilst you were running
Damn, I wish
event.
you were in the army painting team. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Right? And he was really excited. And then tell him what happened.
I have to tell you. Seems
It went well then.
this isn't a confessional. This isn't the truth.
It went well then.
I played a game against my good friend Oscar, and the army isn't very good. And it's not, and I don't mind an army being bad because there's a certain type of army that can be bad, but you can still have loads of fun with.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't an army that was bad.
It wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun while it was bad. It was just bad.
Oh.
And it's my own fault. I do know what Games Workshop games are like. That is a inherent feature of a Games Workshop game where they just don't make stuff.
But surely you're not supposed to run a list of 8 pigs. Like, I don't know if we can...
They specifically have what is this thing called an army of renown, all built around only running the pigs. So, like, the concept is there's a named character, and he's your boss pig.
Yeah, he's your boss pig.
And you're only allowed to take the pigs in the list.
Okay.
So the idea
sense.
is that, like, that's the army.
Yeah.
But some armies are renowned and much better than other
So
armies.
what, like, you're like bloodthirsters? Quite fun.
I don't know if there is one of those. There's like a couple of there are a couple of different ones. They're basically really meant to be thematic.
Yeah.
It's a really cool concept. It's a Games Workshop game. They spent about 3 minutes on it, I assume, and it wasn't very good. And that's sad.
And you're sad.
All right.
And I'm sad. Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's really sad.
I'm really upset for you.
I'm so glad I didn't paint them for you.
This is it because like,
I'd be sad too.
I'm glad that you had that test game, right? Imagine if you didn't have that test game and you spent like months and months painting them.
It's my own fault as well. It's like a double problem,
you
right?
You just had a fun idea, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but the thing is, and it's the content I make a lot where I say, don't just go and do something fun, which is such a horrible thing to tell people. Don't do your fun idea, right? Because the other side of that fun idea is tragedy, right? And that's a really hard thing, which I know turns people off to the content I make sometimes. Because people are like, no, I just want to do the fun thing.
Someone will be like, I really love that miniature. I'm definitely going to buy it. And then Rob will be like, have you had a test game with it yet? And they're like, no, why shouldn't I just buy the really fun miniature?
But my problem is I don't watch my own content. And therefore,
or listen to your own advice.
Or listen to my own advice. I was just like, no, just do it. Yeah, but this will be fun. And it was a tragedy. It was a tragedy.
I'm so sorry.
It was a pork price I played.
There's something in there.
There's like a poor price.
I got that. I'm trying to think of one bacon.
Are you currently porcupining?
Oh, that's good. I'll take
that's good.
Porcupining. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
Back to Peach.
Back to Peach.
Sorry, I diverted so bad
that's
there.
all right. That was interesting.
So Charlie isn't making too much noise.
Yes.
No, Charlie is not making too much noise, so I can do content during the week. I have filmed 2 films, videos.
I love that you call them movies and films.
For the telly box.
I want them to be movies now.
Well, one is Sharp episode 2. Sharp Silver. I have Nigel Betts, thank you, Nigel, who played Major Pycroft in the original TV show. He's voiced 2 characters.
You're shitting me.
No, so he sent
How
me
was that for you? Were you a little like...
I won't lie, because he's probably the most quotable character from the TV show. Even though it was only one episode, which was Sharp's mission.
Yeah.
He says a thing which is, that's soldiering.
That's soldiering.
Soldiering. Yeah. He says it like, loads of people refer back to that when you're like, you've done something good.
It's a quotable thing.
Yeah, it's very quotable.
Yeah.
So from I wouldn't say I was super young at the time when he was on, but I was probably like late teens, getting on from the
Definitely
20s.
impressionable.
Yeah, very much so. So to have him reach out firstly to go, like your content, I'll do some voices for you. And then to have him do the voices was amazing.
Yeah, that's stunning.
I can't imagine.
I've got a little treat for him as well for episode 3. So
Have you told him to reach out to Mr. Bean?
I haven't, no, that's not my...
Sean Bean.
Oh,
I
right.
think he's
was
got
like,
more important
no,
things to do.
Mr. Bean is a character.
Rowan Atkinson just comes in playing a character.
I know, that's why I was like, why would he reach out to Mr. Bean?
Sean Bean.
Sean
Sean
Bean.
Bean.
Scene Bean. Sean Bourne.
Yeah.
Bean.
Have you asked him?
No. I do need to like
I'm asking for you.
go balls out and then just email him again and say, look, I've made this. It'll be great if you ever watch it.
That'd be so fun.
That would be so nice and cool.
But my Sean Bean impression is terrible.
Do you want to give us a little...
I can't.
You almost
I have
did
to
it.
listen back to it. It's often I just try and do like,
Is it just
I'm
like very
from North,
normal?
like that. You bastards.
You
You
bastards.
bastards.
Could you,
It's
for
quite
people
good.
who might not have been watching along, could you TLDR or you could give us a quick what are you trying to do with this series?
So I want to do some games for my channel, and Silver Bayonet is quite close to my heart at the moment, so it makes sense to tie that in with Sharp. I'm a big fan of Sharp, so I've done a mini series which is season 1, so there will be more seasons. Season 1 will be 3 episodes long. It's to do with Sharp fighting against the horrors in the Silver Bayonet gothic horror of the Napoleonic Wars. The first one he discovers a werewolf, which is an old enemy of his. This episode I've just done is they're trying to get silver because they now know they need silver to kill said enemy. And then episode 3 will be probably trying to kill the big guy himself. Then I'll leave that for a bit and then go on to something like Necromunda maybe or Frostgrave, do like a mini series of that with some characters.
Oh my God.
I would like to do Lord of the Rings as well. So do like maybe go through the Hobbits trying to leave the Shire and do missions based
There's
on...
a lot of Sean Bean potential in all of these
Oh my
projects.
God. And there's
All
the
of
James
these-
Bond game. I can do
Yeah,
006.
literally. Like, it's not coincidental.
I actually, Peach, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I would love to do, you've talked to me about this already before, but I think something as what I'm currently doing content-wise is slowing down. I have scope over the next few months, maybe, to do a Necromunda campaign. I'd love to do one with you.
That would be amazing.
Especially because there's a couple of guys. I think we can, because it'll be after Louise, it'll have happened, so we can tell the story.
Oh, okay, so some of our friends
So
downstairs...
Chris and Jack is who I'd like to do a campaign. You, me, Chris and Jack. I'd love to do a campaign with you.
They're doing some of the most heinous things I've ever seen done with the Necromunda rule set.
Oh, amazing.
Like
Shall I tell the story?
Not yet. I'm gonna say not yet.
Yeah, but by the time this is out, it's over.
Okay, then let's tell it. So like they had a little evil, I can only like equate it to like an evil meeting of villains last night.
They did.
So-
Dave,
so tell-
Jack. So Jack's a game designer. He works for Modifius. They have their own game company.
yes, yeah.
They have their own game company called Caesar Inc. They have worked for Riverhorse before, and then Chris is a graphic designer and artist, and they work with Morgan, and that's Caesar Inc. And they're doing their own RPG called Doomsong, which is like gothic horror.
They're super cool guys.
Yeah, super,
heard
and
of
they're
Doomsong,
very
yeah.
funny. They're very cool. They're very talented, but they're also like game designers, like and have been for the past 10 or so years.
Yeah.
So and they worked on multiple different games. So they've got a lot of really professional as well, which is quite fun, but also like completely cursed, right? So this weekend is Boil.
Yeah.
Right. So if you ever watched Louise's video from last week, Bring Out Your Lead is an old hammer event.
What video from last week?
Last year, sorry.
Oh.
Video from last year.
Sorry, I'm eating some smoky bacon crisps.
Yeah, if you are enjoying that on
hungry?
the podcast, that's free for you.
I also have a plop.
Who doesn't like a little bit of tasty
Would you like
plop
a
plop?
plop? It's not. I thought I could get away with it whilst you were doing
You
story
couldn't
time.
remotely.
Okay, well let me put my.
You weren't even close.
I tried to crunch really quietly. If you just cut the camera to me snacking, I'm gonna be so annoyed.
I was already planning it.
Look.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's got mind of its own.
Anyway, yeah. So what we're talking about, friggin' Necromunda, right?
Bring Out Your Lead last year
Oh yeah, bring out your lead.
was an event.
So yeah, but there's this one of the biggest tables that gets booked out is from our friend Curtis, and he runs a massive game of what is essentially Necromunda.
Yeah.
Last year, John Blanche was playing with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay,
like
yeah.
20 people turn up to this game. You bring a little war band, and it's just like you just do weird stuff.
Cool,
You just You're on the tabletop
I've
with
seen
your
bits of this
warband.
board, actually, yeah.
It's so fun. It's so wacky. Like my squats, I brought a squat warband because it was fun, and they just like went to the pub. Then they teleported up to the other side of the thing, and it's just really wacky. So
and it's a game where you can drop in, drop out, a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And just like it's just really good fun. But it essentially uses Necromunda rules.
Yeah.
But Chris and Jack being game designers, right?
And little rascals.
And massive rascals. And also Chris being like an amazing hobbyist. I can't wait to show you.
Oh,
you're gonna love it.
Yeah, you're gonna freak out when you see all his stuff.
So you're allowed 1,000 credits per gang. So you turn up for 1,000 credits. But obviously, Chris and Dave, Dave and Jack, that's who it is, are all turning up and they're all wearing little policeman hats. So they've all got 1,000 credits each and they're going to work like a team. Right. And the idea is they have and there's a couple of elements about the game setup which are narratively very fun, but mechanically not very smart. Like, for instance, vehicles being free. Yeah. Like, obviously they should cost lots of points and they don't. Right. And also there's no restrictions on list building. So what they're doing is they're turning up with this helicopter and it looks insane, Peach.
It's
like
so cool.
All the inside is painted.
He's used like one of those big like Action Men toys. You'll love
and
it.
it looks incredible. He's all weathered it up. It looks amazing. Various vehicles that again have had like the plane itself or the helicopter. Sorry, the lid. I put pictures on. The lid comes off. Like things ramp out of it.
It like perfectly fits like 3 Tauroxes.
Oh, wow.
All built. And like, this is why I said we should do a Necromunda campaign. They're great people. Right. And they really get the vibe. There's a bunch of vehicles and everything else. And the idea is they're going to turn up and they've got a bunch of Juves. And if you've never played Necromunda, there's different ranks and the lowest is a Juve. Yeah. And then a bunch of Juves and they're all dressed up like policemen. Right.
And
so the idea is they're going to turn up and they're going to role play because the meta narrative of the event is that you're not allowed to lie about your stats or anything.
Right.
But
you're
you
allowed
can kind of do a bit of subterfuge in a funny way in character as you're playing the game.
You can role play as the player at the event.
And you can just be like, I'm the police. Of course I'm here to arrest the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So then they're going to be like, and then there's a big town and there's a mayor inside of it. And the mayor is the person that like last year won the event. Yeah, won the event. So they're going to turn up and be like, we're the police. We're here to protect everything. Let us in. And then when they let in, they get let in. That's their plan. We'll see if it happens. But when they get let in, hilarious. It's a Trojan horse because inside all the vehicles.
And there's multiple vehicles.
I don't know if
you mentioned this. There's like a dumpster truck.
Yeah.
3 Tauroxes, an entire helicopter.
Yeah,
like they the little Juves. I don't know how they're driving this stuff, but they've got a ton.
Yeah,
of vehicles.
they've just got a couple of little Juves. But then, like when they get inside, it's like a Trojan horse, and inside all the vehicles are just millions of gene stealers.
Nice,
right? And then their idea is that they're going to rampage through the town. Right?
And do they take the helmets off? And
take the helmets off, exactly.
I love it.
It was really funny because yesterday they were just like they kept opening things that just had gene stealers and like hundreds of gene stealers. They're like, oh yeah, you think this is just about surprise gene stealers? Like it's all gene stealers.
Yeah, and when I asked them, I was like, why gene stealers? They're like, because they're super broken. Yeah. Like the idea is that they're going to just murder the town. so they're going to try and turn up like an apocalyptic wave.
They had an evil villain meeting about this. They didn't just turn up to do it. They run it through the scenario last night.
Yeah, but the hobby level is like absolutely 11 out of 10.
Yeah, they've committed to the bit.
I think it's
great.
Yeah,
I think it's like if someone, I don't know, I think it's cool because then everyone will rally against the gene stealers and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's a great little narrative surprise.
How fun is that?
Yeah, and that's at Boyle. We'll be
it's
there.
On Sunday though.
And
it's on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. They're going on Saturday and we're there on Sunday.
I see.
So we might miss the
big
fun.
fat ball bags.
But we're going to try
Boyle bags.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm a Boyle bag.
Anyway, that's happening. I just thought you'd enjoy that. So Necromunda though, I would love.
Yes.
Because we have the cameras now to like film some games. Because I've been filming some games, so I'd love to do that with you.
You have every gang that you promised you'd paint.
I've got every gang already painted. Plus extras.
Rob, how much Necromunda did you buy?
I bought quite a lot, to be fair. So
Peachy.
That wasn't. Stop it! Look at his little face.
I was going to speak to Peach. Peach, how much Necromunda do you think is okay to own?
All of it, Rob.
Thank you, Peach. Thank you, Peach.
As I've always said, every model is a Necromunda model. So every model ever made.
How much Necromunda do you think you should also paint?
All of it, eventually, at some point.
Thank you, Peach.
Why are you?
Or pay someone else to do it for you.
Rob came out with a statement today where it was being good at painting is all about confidence. Rob, can you explain that?
I was in Warhammer World, Peach, and a gentleman, Greg, shout out to Greg if you're watching this.
What's up, Greg?
Greg walked up to me and went, I just want to say, while I'm stood next to Louise Sugden, came up to me and said, hey, I know this is a bit awkward, but can I just let you know you've just obviously changed my life and you've helped me learn how to paint, and you've like changed things that have happened to me, and been a massive impact on my life. And I was like, through painting? You went, yeah. I went, good.
Go back into the laugh cut.
What were we talking about? Oh, we're doing my Peach. Greg. Oh, that was it. Just Greg. I've changed Greg's life. So
with Slapchop
as a painter.
While stood next to the Louise Sugden.
Yeah.
That is.
Who he also said he'd had a one-to-one with you, Peach.
Yeah, yes, I said that. Yeah. He had a one-to-one with Peach. So we're trying to work out who it is. So anyone but Louise. Anything's good.
Because Greg doesn't want to mess around. Oh, but then I went on to say, Greg, if you painting, it's all about confidence.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
You just got to show a mini and just say, how good is my mini?
And we were in the Warhammer World Museum, surrounded by like miniatures that have been painted by people who have spent their lives dedicated to the craft. And Rob's like, it's all about confidence. It doesn't matter how you paint your miniature, as long as you say, this is the best painted miniature ever, and you hand it over. It's like...
I had a bit of a crisis when I did the Warlord Hail Caesar video, because they're like super tiny little figures. And the paint jobs were quite low level, but they're designed to paint, because you're going to be needing to paint thousands of figures, because there's like thousands of 10 mil teeny tiny figures. So when I was like having 4K footage of these paint jobs, I was like, I was like, no. Because that's how I paint at home.
They didn't look. They were like. Peachy told me this story. He's like, "Oh, I'm not really sure about the quality of them. I think it's a bit low." And then I looked at them, and they were perfect.
No,
they
it's that because you get judged no matter what. And most of the people that follow and watch my channel won't judge it for that, because I'm trying to help them get stuff on the tabletop. And even now, sometimes I'm like, maybe I should push it a bit more. Maybe I should. And I'm like, no, because that defeats the object of it.
It does defeat the object.
That's not like. Your thing is making it accessible for people, though. Like I did my video on how to paint the guys that I did, and I was like, no one's gonna do this. Yeah. No one's gonna watch this and do the same thing as I've done. Like your video is way more useful. Yeah,
like we picked up the Necromunda Exotic Animal Collector Mini today.
Oh, I need to see. I need to get that.
And then I bought it, and I said to Louise, I was like, I'll buy it if you paint up the exotic guy. And I was like, there's just no way. Like that mini from her will look.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, nuts.
I did a mock-up of it, and I don't know if I still have the mock-up, but I did one with like he has like leopard skin trousers.
Oh, I remember this,
stuff.
yeah.
Oh, I must find it somewhere.
That's
I feel like
cool.
it could be on my old work computer though, since it was a long time. I know.
But but you can paint those things so well, but I can't, and and that's fine.
You can slap chop though.
Yeah, slap.
So two more things before we move on to.
I want to keep hearing what you've been doing.
Well, I want to say thank you to Landon, because he did a really fun little intro to my Sharp video.
Thank you.
Because I did initially on my first battle report, I thought it wouldn't make sense if I just go straight into the Sharp intro, because you want to hit people in that first 15 seconds. As awesome as the Sharp intro is, not everyone gets that. So I did a little sort of like, hey, so I'm going to go at battle reports, no dice, just fun and narrative. And then it goes into the Sharp intro. People really liked it. It was well received. And I was like, how do I start the next one? Do I just go straight into the Sharp thing? And I was talking to a guy called Landon, who's done some voiceovers in the past when we did the Necromunda game.
I remember
ages ago.
Those were great.
And he's just really funny. He's gone down the Vincent Price Hammer Horror sort of vibe.
Could you explain that more to me?
So
it's very like creepy.
Initially, I was going to go with Adam West Batman. Well, at the start, like, will Batman make it out of the chains alive?
Yeah, I love that.
That kind of thing. Where it's just like really sort of 15 seconds of what happened last week. And then it's like leads into the next episode. We kind of did that with the Sharp thing.
I might do mine like Gold Rush.
Ooh.
Bam, bam, bam. Will they find gold in this episode?
They never.
Right now, they're digging gold.
They never
5 seconds ago, they were digging gold.
What was that one series that we watched where we watched like 12 episodes of it and they never found gold?
Gold Rush White Water.
That was the worst thing I've ever watched in my life.
They didn't find it. Spoilers for season 1. They found no gold.
Spoilers for season 2.
Season 2, not much gold. And Louise was furious that we kept watching it.
Because it got you. You kept on watching the next episode to be like, surely this time they'll find gold. There was just nothing in that crick.
No. I was looking to find gold in the episode, and I didn't. So
Good one, Rob.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry, Peach.
No,
you were saying.
no, I can't. What was it?
So you're on episode 2.
intro. Yeah.
So I'm going to do a few more battle reports on shop. Well, one more battle report on shop, then move on to something else. But today,
Have you enjoyed the process?
I've really enjoyed it. This one, I thought I'd made some efficiencies, but it actually took longer because I did loads of extra special effects. And one thing I've learned as well is like getting external voiceovers does require a bit more planning. So now I know what roughly I want to do for episode 3. I'll probably... Because I have to do all the footage first, right? Before I know the actual story.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine the story until it's actually, I played the game. Then I'm like, right.
Now you know the narrative.
Yeah. So that's the downside. And then I kind of like was away at the weekend and didn't get a chance to pass some stuff on to neither Nigel or Landon. So they were really good there and, had a quick short turnaround for me. So thank you. You guys are awesome.
Hey, that's great.
But today, before I headed in, Charlie made full use of his super hyper-focused autism because I have a load of Army Painter paints, which I've had for a while, in a box, right?
Yeah.
And I was like rummaging through, trying to find colours. We were talking about our favourite colours, and he was like, "Oh, this is my favourite."
What's his favourite colour?
It's Emerald Forest. It's called.
Ooh.
He really likes that. I was
Green's
searching through
my
all
favourite
these.
colour too.
Is it?
Yeah.
He's a big fan of green.
Yeah,
I like
I'm a big
yellow.
fan of green.
Mrs. Peach likes red.
I like orange.
Yeah, that's a good favourite colour.
Orange. You're pink.
No, green.
Green. I think you. Oh yeah, you would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like. I also really like pink.
I was gonna say
I really like pink.
You're a big fan of pink.
I could
green's good.
sway for pink.
And
But
Goblins is green. That makes a lot of
It
sense.
adds up actually if you think about anything that I've ever painted in the last
That's
5
true.
years. But anyway, continue. So
So we were looking through his box of stuff, and I was like explaining to him they have like a triad system, but it's like 3 tones. It's like really dark to really light, and it's like vivid blues, vivid greens. And he was reading them through, and he was like, "Oh, Dad, I found the darkest one here." And then he just proceeded to organise them all into colour spectrum for me. To the point that I was like, he's
Did
now
you get any
organised.
pictures?
I got a picture of some of it, but what was really bizarre was like, it's organised it all up. He put it on my desk, and I was like, I kind of need to use my desk, but this is really helpful.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? I don't use my workshop paints anymore, unless that's for reference.
You're like, here you
So
go,
I just
son.
emptied my case out of all my workshop paints, and now they're all in colour spectrum.
Nice.
And
That's a service.
And he was just like, did that help you? And I was like, that helped me quite a lot. Thank you very much.
Ask him if he wants to do the Games Workshop ones.
Maybe. Well, I don't think I'll use them, but he can
Honestly,
have them. They're going to be for him.
This
He
is a
can have
game
them.
that I would love to play myself.
Yeah.
I like also organizing things. There's a game.
It saved me so much time.
Yeah, that's
because it's one of those
amazing.
jobs I've been meaning to do, and he just did it. Next is smelting miniatures.
Oh, there you go.
So full use of child
Well,
labour.
I mean, the real way, like as the world gets more difficult to make money, Peach. Obviously, the next thing is just get Charlie out there, on the knocking the doors. Anyone need their paints organising? Lawn mowing?
Yeah, get a
Is
bit
it
of
like
pocket money.
when the little kids in America like shovel the snow? Except, so Peachy, you got to get him this board game. It's called Hues and Cues.
Oh my gosh, that
Right?
was great.
Hues.
So look, you get a massive board. It's a whole spectrum of colors, and you get given a color on a secret card, and you have to guess what it is based on cues. So I'd be like SpongeBob SquarePants, and you'd put one counter on a yellow, and then you're like, it's 2 away or something. So you go sunset to make a move more into orange.
That's amazing.
And until like
this
they
sounds
guess.
like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
We need to play this.
You
this
gotta
sounds fun.
play it. You gotta get it for Charlie. He'd love it.
Hues and cues.
Yeah, hues and cues, and literally, you get a color, and then you gotta guess
It's a
which
good
one it is.
way of teaching colour theory as well.
Oh,
to a certain
100%.
degree.
Yeah, because it'd be like no cold blue instead of warm.
Why does it look like the Pro Quill Monument of Hobbies typeface?
It does actually. It does. It does look like pro acryl, doesn't it?
It's really bizarre.
Huh. Either way, you
Maybe they made it. Maybe they made
you
it.
gotta get him to play it. Look,
That
there's
was
a
really
little
good.
square of where the color is, and it's so fun.
That looks really good.
Yeah, he'd love that.
Yeah,
I feel.
so would I.
Well, it's nice of him to organise them, though.
No,
and it's nice
yeah.
you found something that
I don't
he
think he
enjoys.
did it as
right?
a favor. I think he probably thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It definitely thought, and then there was a bit near the end where he couldn't quite work out like where all the black greys were, but we managed to find all the it basically goes black to like a light grey. But he literally not only got
Oh my
the
God.
6 tones, but he'd organised them into light to dark. I know they've got like a little marking system on the side of the bottle.
Probably really good at colors.
Yeah. It's great.
That's cool.
So that helped me. That saved me like 70 hours of effort.
Does he want to? I'm about to say, it's like literally, it's like the kid shoveling snow. I'm like, oh, does he want to?
Is he looking for a lawn to mow?
My paint shelves. I'd love that.
Yeah, I think he would.
That's great.
It's been. I've been recording another video on top of the battle report that's going out tomorrow. So just doing something Stargrave related. Thought I've not done anything.
And people have been engaging with it. You've enjoyed it.
So I was always worried that I have to. As much as I like workshop stuff because it's been a big part of my life, I just want to talk about other things for a bit. And I've really enjoyed talking about Stargrave, Frostgrave, Silver Bayonet, as I keep going on every podcast. But doing the Hell Caesar one, that did quite well. So I will go back to doing 40k related stuff. Necromunda is a big thing for me. I still want to do Peach on Gangs. I've just not had a chance to even plan that. I've done episode 1 and planned it, but I need to find a derelict place because I want to film myself in somewhere that looks like Necromunda.
Okay.
And I'll use lots of footage of miniatures, but I want to do like the...
Thankfully, we're in Nottingham. Loads of places.
Yeah, well, I was
Literally.
thinking like this, like dark with like lights and stuff like that.
I was about to say, anywhere's the underhive as long as it's industrial and you have LEDs.
Yes,
true.
exactly, yeah.
I wonder if there's like an underbridge which isn't a crack den.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
That
When
we
you're
could
doing these kind of
use.
things, you've got to find something that's a bit secure.
Yeah, not
that you're not
a
gonna get
crack
mugged.
den.
Yeah, or you just go with a lot of people.
Yeah. I'll
That's
go
the-
with a lot of
yeah,
people.
that's the
Go
secret
with some
sauce.
more crack people.
Stop saying crack.
Crack
people.
people.
They're people with addiction issues. That's what they
that's
are.
sad.
I know.
Oh, now I feel sad. But it is crack addiction issues. Rendering my statement accurate, if not particularly sensitive.
Okay, yes.
So that's me. That's me.
All right,
That's a
fun.
good catch. So it sounds like
Great
you've
week.
had a really good week.
I did.
Because a lot of the time we come here and both of us are like, our computers crashed 8 times. It's hard working out technology when...
Well, I think that's the other thing to say as well, like with Peach, is don't rush into, like, if
No.
you've got a great idea, you haven't got to do it now.
Yeah.
Do it when you've got time to do
Exactly,
it.
yeah,
Like, do it
yeah.
the way you want to do it
Yeah.
when you get time. You're still learning. Like, you've been doing all your own production, all your own editing.
Yeah, it's
Same with
impressive
Louise.
that you've actually managed to become your own production company, like learning from scratch.
Oh, it's been
Within
a
how
nightmare.
many months is Peachy?
4 months.
4 months.
4
That's
months now.
nothing.
That's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just give yourself
literally.
you're doing great and you're
Yeah.
doing fun stuff.
I mean, I'm going to make mistakes along the way. Some big ones, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like the last one, the Hell Caesar one, I lost all my footage
That's
because
so
of that
sad.
weird glitch on Premiere Pro, which you've had happen.
Remember that time that Premiere just deleted all the files that were on my computer?
yeah, I don't know what happened there.
No,
Yes, it happened
was
to me. This is
so
twice now.
weird. And I was lucky because I had them all backed up on my hard drive. But
Yeah.
if I did that thing where I just put them onto my computer and then deleted it off my hard drive to save space, I would have lost them forever.
Can I tell you a technology thing that's really upsetting me at the minute?
Yes.
It's how much money I've had to spend on hard drives.
Hard
So, like,
drives are dumb expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because recording this and then some other little bits I've been doing recently, I've just had to I've ended up getting like 3 or 4, I just bought a 4 terabyte hard drive. And I was like, I hate this. I've spent 400 quid on a hard drive.
It
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
illegal because it's empty.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what am
I'm buying an empty
What am I
box.
getting?
What am I paying for? Like, what's in there? Nothing.
Yeah.
Give my money back.
Louise, what you been doing?
I've had a fun week. I've been also making a video that I've really wanted to make for a really long time. And we can talk about it, can't I?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you also built a Gundam.
I built so many Gundams.
Oh, I've been seeing your
I'm having
footage
such a
and your
good time.
stories. So good.
I was wondering if next week, Pete, or maybe next week or week after, we can do a Gundam build party if you fancy it.
That sounds
Build a Gundam.
great.
I'll cry.
Yes.
As an incentive, I'll cry.
I'll bring my waifu. My
I was
waifu.
going to build my waifu too.
So I was thinking maybe we could do it on Wednesday. Oh no, we can't do Wednesday. It's Louise's birthday.
I could do it as a birthday party.
That doesn't sound like a birthday party, Louise.
Have you seen my face?
Well, do you want to come to Louise's Build a Gundam birthday party?
I'm
building
all
a
game.
Gundam.
I'm all game with
There'll
that.
be
literally-
cake and food and
Fuck off. Can we have cocktail sausages and hummus?
yeah, do you want that?
I'll bring the carrot sticks.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome.
I'm going to pass out. Are we actually going to have a...
If that's what you want to do for your birthday, it's your birthday.
I think it might be right now.
You've not got anything planned, have you? I
Oh
don't
no,
know,
because we're going to go to a petting zoo. But then afterwards...
Yeah, we can do the petting zoo in the day, Gundam building party in the evening. How's that sound?
And everyone has
And everyone has to what?
Build a Gundam and eat hummus like I do. I'm going to be such a beautiful day.
Scenery, hummus.
All right, done.
Oh my God, I'm crying. Can we actually do that?
If that's what it's literally your day, you can do anything you want.
I know, but like, can we invite Oscar?
Yeah.
Oh, and then we'll build
I love Oscar.
Yeah, we love
great.
Oscar in this family. Okay, what was the question? Because now I'm all...
How
What
was
have
your
you been
week?
doing for the past week?
Well, now I'm doing great. I'm doing such a good time right now. Yeah, I've had a good week. I was tired on Monday and I wanted to make like a quick video, and because I usually upload like once every 2 weeks because I like to do some longer form videos and blah blah. Painting takes time, so I was like, okay, I have a week to make a video. What can I do? And I was like, I should do a lore video because I think I mentioned last time I was on Juggz, I've kind of blown my gasket a bit with painting. Like I did so many very intensive hobby projects in a short amount of time that I just got really tired. So I was like, oh, if I do a lore video, I just get to read for a couple of days. And then like, that's really good fun.
Is it?
No, it is. I love it. I personally love it. My attention span is fucked though.
Yeah.
But either way. So I was like, oh, what do I want to do a lore video on? What's like the one thing, like, and it's always horror themes in Warhammer.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing. So I'm like, easy. I'm going to do a video about creepy mysteries in Warhammer that like the obscure ones that you've never heard of, because like everyone knows like missing Primarchs and stuff like that. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to do like the ones that aren't talked about, which should be talked about. So I'm like, so in on this script.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds
like,
cool.
Exactly, it is. And
Is
it
that
was,
one of the things you think attracts you specifically to 40k? Is like
the horror.
The horror.
Yeah, the gothicness, the horror, the like cosmic horror
Cosmic.
as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
Love it. So
That's very
I'm like,
Cthulhu, isn't it? Cosmic horror.
exactly. So like, and that's some of the best bits of lore, in my opinion, is like the ancient lore and the chaos gods and like the Tyrannid shadow in the warp and what lies outside the galaxy and like ancient Xenos technology. It's all my favorite stuff. So
Is it because it's like a playground of imagination? Like there's some tidbits?
mysteries are so fun. They're so fun to think about. I don't know. I love mysteries. I love horror. I love Warhammer. It's just the perfect video for me to make.
Perfect.
So
without,
I was
without
like,
blowing all your powder, have you got
no.
anything to share that you thought was quite cool? Or do you want to just save it all for content?
Well,
so many. So I won't give it all away.
Yeah.
But
No, I don't want you to.
No. Well, one of my favorite ones, which is on the list, is concerning Malkador the Sigillite.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was
Interesting.
like, he's one of the most prolific characters in 40k. He's like the right-hand man of the Emperor. He's a perpetual, but no one really knows a lot about his history. So I'm like, this feels like a good mystery. I'm going to look into this. And I discovered some horrific stuff.
Oh, my God.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Malkador has a clone who he has made specifically to hear his confessions.
Oh.
Right? To basically admit his confessions to. And that clone has such a terrible time listening to Malkador's confessions that it's destroyed itself hundreds and hundreds of times. And Malkador keeps recloning it, essentially.
Oh, that's dark.
And then the mystery is like, what did Malkador do which is so bad that this like living being just kills itself hundreds of times because he's heard about it? Like, that's creepy.
That
right?
was like me
very
reading the YouTube comments on the Female Custodies video.
Shut up. Shut the
I was like, oh my God.
Every single time you're like, what? Out the window.
I jump at 12.
That's enough. But yeah, like that's cool as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like a whole video of stuff like that. So I scripted it. I was so happy with it. I did like 8 or 10 little like lore pockets, and then I filmed it on Tuesday. And on Wednesday I started editing it, and the edit goes really quickly because it's just putting in little pictures. No, put little pictures. There's no like cutting down painting footage that takes half the time.
Weirdly, I find that easier.
Really?
Than find all the images and making them move and making them interesting.
I love that bit. No, for me that bit's easy. Cutting down painting footage takes me like another day or two on top of everything else. So I was having a great time. And then I went onto YouTube and I can't remember what I Googled. I think it was like, I wonder if anyone else has done this mystery about this particular subject. And then I found that a certain content creator who is extremely popular in the Warhammer lore space has done like entire series on literally word for word my working title, which is Creepy Warhammer Mysteries. And it's not like that title is particularly specific, but not unfortunately, because they're great videos. I watched some of them, they're great videos. But unfortunately for me, it made me feel really guilty about producing a video which was so similar, not only in content, but title, and then also probably the thumbnail, because we have quite a similar style of thumbnail, that I just didn't feel right doing it. Yeah. And I talked to loads of people. This is
after you'd written the script and filmed it.
Started editing it. Yeah, so like 3 days of work had gone into this already. And I was like halfway through editing it. And then I kind of ceased to feel comfortable continuing. So I was like,
what do you do?
What do I do? Yeah. So I messaged a lot of my friends who are also in like the lore YouTube thing, and they're like, don't worry about it. Of course, no one owns 40k lore. Yeah. And if it's themes of horror, then that's even more like, of course, people are going to make videos on this. And I was like, that's fair. But because it was so similar, down to like the title, theme, content, everything. And since it's a series that they made, it's not like, oh, it's been 2 years since they made that video, so it's kind of fine. It's been like 12 days since they last posted. And like I said, they're one of the most highly followed people in the YouTube sphere. So I just didn't want to attract bad energy to myself. Or especially for them to think I had seen their content that had performed successfully and literally one for one tried to copy it.
Surely that's going to be the case anyway, because in the YouTube sphere, when you are talking about a product that is everyone has access to, which is the lore in the background.
Lore is a weird
you're gonna
one
copy.
Like that. Well, not even copy, but like crossover.
Yeah, crossover.
Yeah, absolutely. Like and I think it would be fine. So like if you type in the Emperor of Mankind lore, you get like 60 different content creators making 60 different videos. But for me, this one felt a bit too close to the nose because you Google creepy Warhammer mysteries and it's just those videos.
Yeah.
So it was like more one person rather than, oh, of course, we're all doing it. But either way, I felt really bad and I didn't know what to do. So I had a little meltdown.
Correct.
A little
meltdown. A big meltdown, Rob.
No, it was a little. It was a little.
No, I think, like, honestly, like,
I had a bit of a moral panic, I think.
Yeah, I think working alongside Louise is quite interesting because, like, I think there'll be lots of people watching who'll be like, that's fine. Like,
obviously no one owns Warhammer lore.
Like, someone's painted a Space Marine. Doesn't mean you can't do painting a Space Marine video.
It just felt really specific.
I agree with you, but the thing is I think one of the things that's really respectable about the way Louise likes to work is she's like, I want to make something like, and again, she didn't know anything until
I don't know if I should. And then there's a question, which is like, should you Google it beforehand to see if it already exists? And if it does, do you just not make it?
Yeah, but then I think I would definitely not do that. And my reasoning is because like, if you're a creative, right?
Yeah.
Like, and both of you aren't making stuff to get big numbers.
Yeah.
No.
Like you both do get great numbers, but the thing that you're doing is you're making the thing that's interesting to you.
Oh, like, yeah. I'm like, I love this, right?
Yeah. Like I know Louise loves this stuff. So like when I saw her have this like the panic, I was like, well, unfortunately, you're never going to be able to avoid that someone has covered some elements of this.
Yeah,
but the point is that people want to listen to your take on it. They want to see your sassy little nerdling jumping around or doing whatever.
My whatchamacallit, I think my watchers are a very different type of watchers to this other content creators.
But that's, even if they're the same, the point is that you should be allowed to just make anything you want.
I know,
right? But I respect the fact that you were
it's perception
upset.
Though, right? Because I knew I wasn't copying them, and I knew like everything in my video would be phrased differently, done differently from their videos because I hadn't watched it. But it's more perception. Like I really catastrophize thing, and the internet scares me. So I can imagine loads of people being like, I can't believe Louise is just looking at what's performing well and copying it one for one down to the title. So I was like, this can't happen. So I sent them an email on their business account in a bit of a panic, in a bit of a heightened state, essentially being like, hey, I really respect your stuff. I also really like creepy Warhammer lore. I'm making this video and I noticed that it looks exactly the same as your videos. And I promise I'm not trying to copy you. I would never do that. I really just being like, I'm really sorry. Let me know if you're uncomfortable with this or if you want to workshop the title or something like that. And they messaged me back being really nice. And I like had a little cry.
But who does that though?
What do you mean? Who would do that?
Yeah, who would like make
It's
a video
happened.
go, this is going to work. Oh, their numbers have done really well. Oh, because it shows
Lots of
your
people.
personality, right? Because you've gone,
Yeah.
oh, now I look like I'm copying. I should probably reach out and tell them I've done this thing.
Yeah.
No one does that.
What do you mean?
no one does that.
Yeah.
What?
Because you're a good person. That's what I'm basically getting
Okay,
at.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sure, there's the fear of like mass people on the internet coming to my, like someone puts it on Twitter with the two thumbnails next to each other and say, well, Louise is clearly trying to like get the clout of this bigger content
Yeah.
creator. And then hundreds of people flood my comment section being like, stop copying this content. And like, there's no proof that I didn't.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the least I can do is reach out to that person to at least say this isn't the case ahead of time. And I would never even want one person to think it. More to the point, especially if that was the person who made that content in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I really value people's like work. And yeah, sure. Like even they were like, nobody owns, they said the exact same thing as what you guys said. They were like, nobody owns creepy 40k lore. And if you make videos, that means it's even better because I think they use the phrase all boats rise together, which I
Yeah.
thought was really sweet. But I've decided to revamp so this is where I'm at now. Long story, short story long. I've decided to revamp my video, double the amount of content in it. So it's like 23 entries, spend another week doing it, which means it's going to be a week late.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I posted content. So I'm sorry about that. But it's going to be a week late, but I'm making it just a massive video. And I'm going to make it an iceberg format,
Yes.
which is one of my favorite formats to do, which means that the thumbnail will be different and the title will be different, even if the content's quite similar.
Yeah.
And I'm really comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I did a good thing.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's nice to be like challenged a little bit to improve my content because I probably wouldn't have done a longer form video otherwise. And sometimes I'm like, well, take the hit, don't post a video that week, but then maybe make something that you're even more happy with and that's a bit more unique on the YouTube sphere. And I think that's a good thing too.
Yeah, I agree. Peach, I've got a question for you because I want to
Sorry, that
avoid
was a
Louise
long
answering.
story. That was a long story.
No. The question is, Peach, like before you make a video, having heard Louise's story, do you think you're going to Google if someone else has made your video?
No.
Why?
So
I was gonna
I did
ask you
this.
if you do that.
Good question.
is a good
I was like this when I was
Thanks.
at Warhammer TV, and I never looked at other content creators, which was hard when I left because I didn't know who was who.
Yeah.
I don't really watch Warhammer YouTube.
Well,
in
it's
a
not
big
just.
way.
I also don't.
My worry
weird.
was there's a danger that I could, if I see this stuff, it will go into my psyche and I might remember it and then copy it. And then it looks like I'm copying
Someone
it.
else said that too. Someone said if you start to Google it, you may like, even if you do it accidentally, you'll be like, I
Yeah.
subconsciously did that. And then it's even worse.
So the way I approach it is it's the idea that's formed in my brain. It's solely the idea that's formed in my brain. Everything I do is my idea. And if someone else has done it, it just means we both think in the same way.
Yeah.
I had this with Eventualian Nobles, right? I came up with Eventualian Nobles years ago. As for me, I did some head swaps, put some Empire Outrider heads on some Cadian bodies, painting them up in magentas and stuff like that. Another buddy in customer services was doing the same thing. And he did his blue and he had like yellow plumes with gold armor. Unfortunately, his didn't go in White Dwarf, mine did. But at the same time, we both did a very
Drama.
similar conversion, right?
Did he
we
get
didn't-
pissy?
No, because we're buddies.
good.
I've done
good.
like Necromunda games with him in the past, and you know,
As
went to,
long
like,
as he didn't get
some
pissy
No,
about
and
it.
we talked about it. I was like, oh, I'm doing that, and he's like, oh, I'm doing that. But that was just by accident. That was
Coincidence,
both
yeah.
had a great idea. We executed it very differently because and even though it was the same head and the same body, the color scheme was totally different.
Yeah.
My angle and how I'd approach it was very different. His angle, so although they look the same-ish, they were very different things. So when I do videos, I never look at YouTube.
I think that's safe. I think
I think the important part. Sorry, I just wanted to ask Peach
go
the
on.
question
Yeah.
because I think the important part for you, Louise, to hear.
Is this a learning opportunity for me?
I think maybe.
Okay.
Like I mean, I don't. Like I think everything you did was actually really noble.
It's what I
And,
needed to do for myself, though. A
Which
lot
I
of
res-
other people wouldn't do that, and from the reply that I got, even if I didn't, it would have been fine.
yeah.
Yeah, but I still think the fact that you did is great. But I think what you shouldn't do is limit. Like if you sit down and you have what you think is a great idea, just because someone else has done it doesn't mean it's still not a great idea. You still get to do your job is to create. And also, I think a lot of your followers and YouTube comments can let me know. and they will, like a lot of people follow both of you because of who you are. Like that's what people follow content creators for. Like also the things that you create are brilliant, but they follow you for who you are and they want to hear you do it, not just someone else do it.
I don't know, but
no, that's true. That's true, Peach, right?
I'm going to make a dry brush and contrast video.
Yeah, a dry brush and contrast video. Yeah, you
just
should
call it something weird and be like
peep chap.
I mean,
peep chip.
The only thing I'd say I'd check the internet for is sometimes thumbnail designs, not to steal. So when I was doing my how to play Silver Bayonet, I thought I'm going to look at how to play videos and how they do their thumbnails. And then I'll click on the ones that immediately draw my attention. And then I sit there and think to myself, why did I click on that one?
Yeah.
And then I'll work out. So although I was really proud of my Silver Bayonet thumbnail, the video itself didn't do very well. Maybe it would have done worse without the thumbnail. I don't know.
You can do A/B testing now.
I need to try that.
Yeah.
So
I tried it once and it was interesting.
But yeah, I mean, but it's an evergreen video and it's to support. I chose to do that to support my battle reports in case someone wants to know how to play the game. I thought I'd do that.
Yeah.
But I looked at like a couple of videos that do how to play and it was like cool picture of a miniature, fiery background, big bold letters. And I was like, oh, I'll do that. And I found a picture. I was like, oh, I really like this picture of the French. I'll put Silver Bayonet, big how to play. And I was really pleased with it. But that's what I do now is I look at other people's, if I'm like going, I want to talk about Frostgrave.
That's fine though.
I'll type in, not Frostgrave, but I'll type in like a new book or like some kind of like game that's quite recent, like Death Wizards. What is Death Wizards or something like that. And then I'll just look at people's thumbnails and then go, oh, I want to click on that one.
Like
why do I want to click on that one? What makes me want to click on that one?
What is it? What do you think? What's your favorite? I don't know. I like two catchy phrases. One in the thumbnail, like in the picture, and then one in the title. Yeah. So I read both.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's for me, it's like when you get a book, right? They say never judge a book by its cover. Everyone judges a book by its cover. Why does it have a cover? Yeah.
If we're not supposed to judge it, then why is that a job?
I always go, oh, that looks interesting. I start reading the title, I go, that sounds cool. Flip it around and go,
literally.
That's a bag of shit. I'm not interested in
That's the first 15
knitting during World War II. I mean, the front cover looked like battles on the...
Annie's going to be furious.
I mean, I'm sure it's good for most people. I mean, unless they're knitting Nazis together and then shoving them down the pit, I'm not interested.
Shove them down the pit.
Shove them in the pit.
Get them out.
In the Nazi,
get them gone.
In the knitting those knitting Nazi pits. But that's a good thing to do. I think I've certainly not copied formats, but certainly been like, oh, I like the way that big text draws me in. I'm gonna do that's normal. But yeah, I feel like some people can be quite protective over what they consider to be like their thing in YouTube as well. Certainly know the one that I've come across, but I've seen it happen in other niches and
you know
stuff.
What I find interesting is when you see someone that has a style of thumbnail and then other people copy that, then you think you're clicking on that original person's thumbnail, and then I'm like,
I think I know who you're talking about.
But then that to me, that's wrong. That person's got a style, and I can see if you're paying homage to it, but changing it up a bit, I get that.
If my thing was literally just, I don't know, I always put a green circle with the name of the title in the left corner or something, and that was my distinctive thing. And then someone started doing that exact thing. That's a little sussy.
But I guess from my angle is I look at why that's clickable, as opposed to that's clickable. I'm going to copy it to the letter.
Take exactly that.
Asking the question and then working out, because we're all creatives, right? Yeah. We should be able to make something that works for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still working on my thumbnails and they're not great. I was really proud of my Silver Bayonet one.
I think your thumbnails are really good. But certainly thumbnails are almost...
I think they're hilarious. The way your face is always photoshopped into something kills me. Absolutely kills me off. I'm like, that's exactly what I want.
It's good energy.
Do you know what? It really shows you the good energy that you have. You have that good energy. It's like with Louise's. Louise's are always really professional.
Yeah.
Oh, mine are very colorful. I think that's my I think my thing that sets mine apart is that they're a little girly.
Yeah.
I like to think that they're just a little bit girly. They're usually got a cute pastel-y bright color and my little goofy font. I like to think that's what makes it. Although I'm gonna have to come up with another edgy thumbnail for my recent one. I did one of those before and it was funny because it was you scroll down my content and it's extremely girly thumbnails, and then this one which is cursed cannibal over space. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad because I had to it was my loyalist Space Marine legions who are secretly evil or something, and I did like a really edgy, like the edgiest.
I like that one. That was a good one.
That's because you're a boy. Like,
wow. Hard being a man in the hobby.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
Yeah.
how hard's your week been, Rob?
Oh, thank you for asking. What's been going on in? So I've been grinding out the Age of Sigmar stuff still.
Good.
So it's been fun.
How far through is the grind?
I think I'm nearly there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the jury, I posted my least successful video in over a year yesterday.
Oh, what was it?
So I reviewed. So if you don't know, Age of Sigmar 4th edition has come out, and I've been reviewing each one of the armies, and it's been a big task. And then I reviewed the Beast of Chaos army. Now, if you don't know, Beast of Chaos were put into what Games Workshop are called legends.
Yes.
Therefore, they're not. They are legal for a year, they've said, but they're out of sale, and then they
almost
will be
discontinued.
Well, they're going into the old world.
Yeah, they're phasing them out of Age of Sigmar essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now they are. So they're legends. So they're they're not. And, I will say I'm finding so I've picked up an absolute metric ton of subscribers for me over the course of the past like 3 or 4 months for Age of Sigmar, because I've recovered every single subject in like very high detail, I think to a good quality. And therefore, like, and sometimes I'm the only person covering some subjects. Therefore, people are like tuning in to me for the first time.
Yeah.
And so we haven't really developed that kind of creator-viewer relationship yet. And some of the comments have been very entitled. They're like, I can't believe you haven't done Stormcast yet. It's disgusting. And I'm like...
You disgust me.
And I'm like, it's free.
You
like, what?
terrible freak.
I was like, I'm making you a video for free.
People do get weirdly entitled over free content.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like crazy. Like one of them yesterday was like, I can't believe you did Beast Chaos for Stormcast to see where your priorities are. I'm like,
what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know. Like,
what does that literally mean?
I see what I need to see it as. I would need to see it as a compliment, because what they're saying is I want to hear about this army from you.
They also slap you and call you a bitch while they're doing it. I don't know if that's a compliment.
yeah, I guess so. Like, I it's kind of odd. But that's been going okay. But yeah, I put the Beast one up and it did terribly. Just fine. I also put up my first.
That's kind of like almost predictable, though.
I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's good that you covered it, regardless, knowing that it's going to be exempt.
Well, yeah, like I'm going to be covering Regiments Renown, which will be like absolute flops. But like, I consider my job to be covering every single aspect. I put my first kind of like
good for you
editorial video up, which did crazy numbers.
What do you mean editorial?
So it was more of like instead of being like, hey, this is a review for the army, or this is how new spells work, or something like that.
You just like talking about it while streaming, or
instead it was a video that was just like, right, there's a bit of the game that is probably a bit bad.
What
so in Age of Sigmar 4, you can have these things called manifestations, like endless spells.
Oh, I remember you talking about this.
They've called them they're still endless spells when you summon them.
Okay.
But the mechanic
they're
is...
not endless though, are they? Because they go eventually.
Nice, thanks, gang.
Did you think about that joke? Have you made that joke yet?
No, I haven't. No.
Well,
no, I haven't.
Maybe
I do it in front of an
laugh at
audience,
us.
so I don't want obviously people to bully me.
Get booed by a live studio audience.
Yeah. So, but they call you manifest them and you put them on the tabletop. So they're physical. The problem is now they've made them like, I'm going to say quote unquote mandatory. So in your army list, you get to choose a manifestation law. Which, if you haven't seen under spells, if you don't know what they are for Age of Sigmar, they're these kind of like physical representations of magic. I'll pop a picture up. And you can summon them to the tabletop. And now in Age of Sigmar 4, which is quite cool, unlike other versions of the game, you can kill them. You can fight them and you can kill them, and they can fight you and they can kill you. But you can also resummon them. And so this creates a bunch of kind of like problematic things. Basically, I played with the Bloodthirst the other day, and the Bloodthirst is like twice as many points it was in the last edition, and it's got loads better. Because the Bloodthirster used to be quite pathetic for a for a Bloodthirster.
I killed him with bread and scrolls once on live.
There you go.
Bread and scrolls.
My civilians, they had like a Citizen Sigma, like free guild guard.
Yeah.
And they were just counted as civilians because you had militia.
Embarrassing.
Killed a Bloodthirster with bread.
Yeah.
Bread thirster.
They were really bad. And therefore they created, as we know, a bit of ludonarrative dissonance.
Yes.
Why do you say those words? I don't understand.
For Mrs. Peach, can you remind me what that means?
You sure? For Mrs. Peach.
Yeah.
For Mrs. Peach.
Yeah.
I'm Mrs. Peach.
Ludonarrative dissonance.
Yes, we talked about this on the last week's show. but
we certainly heard you say those words.
It's where something should be scary, like a bloodthirster should be a scary combat monster.
Is that the Ludo bit?
That's the narrative bit.
Okay, we're working backwards
right?
with
and
this
then
one.
the dissonance is that they're not very good in a combat.
Okay, what's the Ludo?
It's just loot based.
Loot based?
I was thinking the game Ludo.
Yeah.
I was thinking the character from the Labyrinth.
all good answers, team. Yeah.
There's
We're
no
all learning
stupid
together.
answers.
Yeah, but it's a really good term to basically describe that it doesn't fit. The rules don't fit the narrative, right? So, but they made the bloodthirster actually scary now. A bloodthirster now feels like a very scary combat monster, as you feel mentally like a bloodthirster should.
Yeah.
Right. But an endless spell just like killed one of my bloodthirsters, and I was like, this is free because it's free. It's free for points.
Yeah.
Obviously you got to buy them, so they're free. So that like I put up a video and I was like, look, and because I cover tournament games, I cover tournaments, I run tournaments, so I'm involved.
Started playing in tournaments.
Playing in tournaments. So like I have engaged with the hobby to the point where a lot of people are playing a lot of games. And I'm like, look, these are cool. So I just did a pros and cons. I was like, look, these are the pros. They're kind of cool. There's this other stuff that's kind of fun. Great opportunity to do some hobbying. But cons, and the cons list was fairly big.
Were people mad?
And there was like solution. And there was a couple of people like, this is so early. And I was like, maybe it is a bit early.
It is early.
But I did say that maybe it was a bit early. And I tried to be really balanced. So it was because truthfully, if we just kind of move away from me.
A little secret.
Because I was gentle, I'm gentle parenting them because they're dumb.
Yeah.
Like,
Robert signs.
No, not the people. The spells are dumb.
Okay,
good. I'm gentle. Sorry, I apologize.
That wasn't very gentle parent.
I'm gentle parenting the viewers because the actual truth is that these spell things are dumb. Because really, why am I spending so much time and effort and brain power on a crap bit of Chinese plastic, right? That looks rubbish. And I'm not like my beautifully painted Cities of Sigmar army, like, you know, the characters battling it out, the duel between like the two heroes. Yeah. And instead just some spell comes over and just smacks it to death. You're like, this is and also everyone's running them. So like there was a really, so I ran a tournament just this weekend and there was a game where it was a Seraphon army versus Seraphon army, but the armies couldn't really fight because there was the two walls of spells battling against each other in the middle.
That's so silly.
And you know, but the thing is though, I'm okay with it if Games Workshop come out and say that that's the point. Yeah. If they come out and they're like, we want it to be a game of armies and magic, then I'll be like, cool.
That's a good tagline.
That's great. But right now, I'm like, I feel like they're detracting from the armies. Like the spells are strong. Like if you bring 10 humans, the spell just beats them to death. And you're like, oh.
A little Balewind vortex.
And then you can't bring and you can't bring the humans back. Whereas you can bring the spells back. So
I always thought it was an interesting move because in Warhammer, you'd have like wizards and you cast spells and there was no visual. And there was this whole move to like make the spells visual.
Yeah, which I liked.
Which is cool.
Yeah. But then it becomes another thing to paint.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest problems workshops always had, and we used to talk about this in the studio a lot, was like, no one wants to paint the scenery. Everyone hates painting the scenery.
It's true.
Let's try and make it easier to use scenery. And so give scenery rules, make scenery do a thing. You'd want to paint it because it does a thing.
Yeah, make people think it's worth it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, but throwing in the endless spells kind of like they're cool and they're really good, but now you want to paint them rather than the scenery, and the scenery is kind of important in the game as well. So
I kind of like it. I really do.
I do. I agree.
I like them, but because they're so mandatory.
Yeah.
Because you cast a spell, and I cast a spell, and I can make a unit do like a run and charge, which is quite a strong spell to be honest. But I can also cast a spell and summon something that if you were spending points on it, it would be like 200 or 300 points. They're not it's the same opportunity cost, but there's a different, like one's obviously a better choice. So you are almost engaged in having to, it's like an arms race, apart from it's a spell race, which is kind of fun. But then that video did really well because I guess, quote unquote, it was like a negative video. I wasn't.
Was it one of those? I can't believe Games Workshop has messed up.
I was just like, is this HTML 4's first big problem?
That's fine because it was true. It wasn't like he got to the end and it was like, no, which is how a lot of these videos tend to go. Yeah. There's one right now which is making the rounds. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like all of my recommended like Warhammer news articles are like, is the Amazon. It's that time of year again. Yeah, have you got this? Yeah. Where I don't know if you've seen this. You know how like 3 times a year they'll be like, the Amazon deal with Warhammer is going to fail. Yeah. It's that time of year again.
Henry Cavill's walked out apparently.
Has he?
According to at least two, I don't watch him because I don't.
So the investor. So the other big news is maybe we should talk about this. Actually, as all former employees.
If you want.
Yeah, just for a quick.
Is this the thing that I didn't understand?
Oh, it's not a huge deal. Okay. The investor report came out yesterday. So Games Workshop's financial report.
Yesterday, wasn't it 2 days ago?
2 days ago. Yeah, you're right. So that's where they put their financials out and they say, this is what we're doing.
This is
how things went. This is about profit. This is what we've paid people, like extra money. And I think obviously because we're all very invested in the product, we want to know if they say, we're investing in a new factory, we're all pretty excited because maybe we've had to wait too long for minis. Maybe stuff has been out of stock.
Like postage if they're getting a factory like halfway across the world or something.
Yeah,
like a load of stuff, and also I think everyone's always a little bit invested in the company doing well because
some people are invested in it not doing well.
Well, yeah, also that, but because people, I think, I've always wondered why it's such a big, question mark. Although people do it like Disney's failing, people love making this sort of like.
This is what I mean by people. Some people are like, if it's like £1 less profit than last year, it'll be the Games Workshop is stonks or plummeting videos start coming out, right?
But the headline is this is their most profitable year on record ever.
Woo!
Yeah. So that's an important thing. Yay. Most profitable year.
That's cool. That's interesting. Do they just keep nailing it every single year?
Well, because 10th edition, they said in the report, they said we're not going to have a successful year next year. Because this was the launch of 40k.
New edition, of course.
In this year. And obviously 40k is their biggest game.
And Age of Sigmar. And Old World. It's been a hell of a stonky year.
No, so Age of Sigmar would have been in a new financial year.
Oh, of course, right. I forgot that years don't work
because a lot of people, I don't know if people know this, but the reason that you get a new edition of a game system every summer is because that's the start of their financial year.
I just thought it was because like sun's out, guns out kind of attitude. Like, yeah.
That's actually the main reason.
Yeah,
but
sun's out, guns out. That would be my tagline for the next 40k.
Sun's out, guns out,
Sun's out, guns out, lads.
Peach, you knew this, right? The new financial year. That's why the new edition is out.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay,
anyway.
so that's why that happens. And so then basically, depending on how their year's going, they can bring, like, if they're the new edition, they need the money for the new edition, they can bring it just before the financial year starts. But if they're like, we're good this year, they can push it to just post the financial year.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Oh, I mean, that's the point, right?
Oh, I thought you were just talking about how much stonks they made this year.
Yeah, they made a lot of stonks this year. They made a lot of money. Big old Kev Roundtree got a £405,000 pay increase
on top of his $1.5 million.
So this is the CEO. His investment package, his package or whatever he gets paid is now worth $1.8 million a year.
That's pretty nice for him.
That's pretty nice for him. I guess the major issue for everyone is that the employees themselves only got a 3% pay rise in the past year when inflation went up 11%. So technically the employees, and I guess it's the only reason I brought it up because we're all former. They're 8% poorer.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, sense. Obviously.
Yeah. Don't love that.
I once got a pay rise that pushed my pay to the threshold of having to pay a student loan.
Yeah.
Which made me poorer at the end of the month. And I asked to not have the pay rise and they couldn't do that.
That's so ridiculous.
So I was actually worse off by getting the pay rise.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
That's so silly.
Yeah, and I mean, we could go into this, maybe we'll do this on Patreon, but like...
Yeah. It seems like a sassy, if you don't know, an incentive to join us on our Patreon.
Because we do.
Help support us.
Help support us, but what you get in return is that we usually save our sassiest opinions for Patreon. So when we say like, maybe this is a Patreon thing, it's because we're going to get sassy about it later.
But what isn't sassy is the Games Workshop employees should have a union. Disney
That's not sassy at all.
No, they shouldn't. Disney employees just got themselves a union.
How are they getting on?
Disney only just got a union.
Because corporations.
Well, I mean, yeah, there you go, Louise. Yeah.
Nice shirt, by the way, Rob.
It just says join a union on it. That's what it says. Anyway, so I have been making videos. I ran an event. I'm running another event this weekend. It's an old world event. I love that. I really enjoyed, this is actually something, so I've been loving the Age of Sigmar content. It's been really fun, but I also make old world content. And I do it with my friend Val. He's great. Love him to pieces. But I also got to do the Arcane Journal last week, which I think we talked about on Thursday, actually, so I don't need to go over this again.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if I did. Let us know in the comments if I did. But it was my favorite review for a long time. I was like, I think everyone in that department might be very clever.
Oh, no,
and
we did. I think we did talk about that. Maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, Rob did like a dwarf review.
Loved it.
And then he was like, everything about this is extremely smart and well made.
Yeah. I was just like, smart. I like this.
And then we bumped into the guy that wrote it, JTY, on the streets of Nottingham. And I kind of dragged Rob over, and Rob was like, no, don't. And I was like, hey.
Yeah, actually, I want to thank you, Peach, last week for bringing Joe on. I loved having Joe on.
Oh, yeah, Joe's wonderful.
Because also, like, it was really nice to be able to have someone on the show who I could compliment about stuff that I enjoy. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I like being able to talk to game mechanics people, because I was like, I love what they do.
Let's do a big shout out to the Old World team for genuinely making some real innovative stuff.
I actually, the video that's just going up on the Squarebase channel that me and Val did yesterday is that I said that I think it's Games Workshop's now second biggest game.
Wow. What? 40K Old World?
I think it's 40K Old World.
Oh, interesting.
That's crazy.
Now, obviously, I could be wrong, but there's a video about that.
They might hate that, because I remember we weren't allowed to, I personally wasn't allowed to work on like Forge World products whilst in marketing, because they wanted to only focus on 40K and Age of Sigmar.
Well, if the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, literally. That could be really good.
But my follow-up is I reckon it could be Games Workshop's biggest game.
Whoa.
Like long term, like not next week.
Yeah.
But like it just makes more sense.
Which is the irony, because it used to be their worst game for a long time.
It was also simultaneously one of their most unsupported games.
Yeah.
So that's a really important point to like correlate those two together.
Good for the team for like resurrecting something and then making it
better.
Something, better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so it was really interesting in the. I don't want to go on about this too long. Sorry, but in all of the marketing leading up to the launch of the Old World, every single, if you go back, and they're all online, so you can go and you can go and fact check me. But if you go back and look at all of the articles, each one of the articles was like, as you may remember, when you were young, like
they
for
were
grognards,
banking very hard on people like relying on the nostalgia value to buy their product.
Well, I don't even no. I think that they were specifically like, if you're new, don't collect this. Like they were like,
literally just like, this one's for the old guys.
That's how
like Yorkies are just for girls. I mean, dudes, not girls, not for girls.
Yeah.
Like then the girls go out and buy them. Like, sod you.
No, for me when I was wee, I was like, okay, then I'll just not, because I really like rules.
No Yorkies for me.
Yeah, so I was like, all right.
You didn't get marketing then, did you?
No, they fucked up on me. I'm just like, I like the order of things as they are. I respect your boundaries, man. You have your Yorkies.
You have the Yorkies.
I'll have my pink Kit Kat. My breast cancer Kit Kat.
Which for some reason are more expensive.
Which for some reason are twice the price.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, the marketing was like, every single article was like, you and your Grognard friends will remember. Grognard was used.
Grognard was used?
In an article. It was bananas.
That's silly billies of them.
The very silly billies.
Oh, that's so silly billies.
So like, and there's a good question. Like, was it actually the marketing department who like were trying to downplay it?
Yeah.
Like, was it intentionally? Like, who knows, right? But the point is then in the investor report that they've just done, they had to be like, thankfully the Old World was picked up by old players and loads of new players because it sold.
Who knew?
They were like, who knew?
That's
that
amazing.
10 years of marketing from Total War would remotely touch a younger audience.
Or
or
like they just didn't quite understand the power of nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's huge. It is. And I know you don't agree because you don't really have it. But
no, I agree with you that the power of nostalgia is massive.
Yes.
I super agree with you. I just think that the most easy selling point about the Old World is it's absolutely just a rip-off of everything you've ever known.
It's
just like, I
guess it's a really easy, it's got no barrier for entry.
Yeah, like
really,
it took me, you have to learn 40K. You know what I mean? 40K is something you have to learn.
I don't know. I'd have to learn the Old World if I was playing it.
No, I don't mean playing it. Sorry, like the IP.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? The first time you introduce, you're kind of like, those dudes, they're like, they come in different colors. That's fun. They're rainbows.
I had a fun bit going around Warhammer World with Rob today, where I kept doing my fun bit, which is I'm a woman that's just been introduced to Warhammer, and I go around and being like, is this the same? Is this the same universe as the Avengers? Really loudly, and I'm like, is that one Iron Man? Is that where Harry Potter lives? So the red one's the bad guys.
Did you get mansplained at
If they're in space, how do those ones breathe?
Or is that the guys about the helmets on?
Yeah. Literally, I'm like, well, if it's in space, is that how are they breathing? Just like asking really good questions.
Because because like the 40K
lore setting.
Yeah, like when you see high elves, you're like high elves. I understand. Like
it's like Lord of the Rings.
It's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
like fine. Like that makes wood elves. That makes sense. I understand that.
What the fuck is a Tau?
What the fuck is a Tau? You're like, oh, it's Gundam. No, they're cow people.
Cow people
live in castes, and you're like, okay,
cow people.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's actually quite.
I had to. Difficult. Yeah, you gotta do a little mind studying.
Yeah,
I hate
you got
the
to do a
name
bit
for the Tau thing.
Oh, the
she-hole.
The she and hay.
Well, no, they say it's
Who's calling it a she-hole?
because it's OLE. Sheol.
No, it's not. It's someone lied to you. It's called the she.
Wait, can't you say this in Chinese, Peach?
No, I call it Sheol. It's like me trying to read out French wine.
It's called the she hey because I remember it because it's how you tell if it's a she or a he.
Okay.
And it's because it's a she hey because
She-o.
the girls.
So my
have the
point
little
is
vagina
that
ones and the
40K
boys
isn't
have
necessarily as easy to understand.
No. What we just said there kind of
Yeah. Anyway, so
you think there's less of a barrier for entry for people to be like a war game with dragons? I get it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of crossover with D&D.
Yeah.
True.
There's lots of crossover with lots of stuff. So you know,
And just the hype was so big when it came out.
It also looks like a battle.
Yeah.
You know what I
Classic
mean?
battle. When you see
Yeah.
art of like fantasy battles and you don't have to be into like Warhammer or D&D
Or the lore.
or anything. It's like if someone
get
says
it.
like, oh, dwarfs versus orcs, you'd
You
be
get
like,
it.
You get it.
That's small guys with like axes hitting like weird guys that look like green skinned. I mean, even green skinned things were like a later adaptation. But
Either way, you get it.
you can
That's a good
visualize
point.
it. Yeah.
Good for the old world, though.
Because a lot of those things actually are just mythical beasts that have, like the Vikings came up with, or
there's like chimeras. There's there's all sorts. Yeah, you're right.
But apart from that, making loads of videos, running events, just running an event, about to run another event, got an event a weekend after. I'm not playing in the one coming, I don't think. But I am going to play in the one after that, which I'm excited about. Only because we've got a lot on at the minute. I also run the venue. So running the venue also means that there's been some issues recently. We've had an electrician needed to get.
We're getting we're like handed around landlords for the venue a bit recently,
Yes.
and they all want to be very hands-on in different ways. So we've had a few like, we'll get an electrician in. Oh, now the venue belongs to someone else, and they're like, okay, we're going to do a check, and we're going to get our own electrician, and it's just been a bit confusing.
Yeah, and then it's like, can we come in and turn the electricity off that day? And I'm like, well, actually, that's quite a big deal because
we have to make videos on that day.
We have to make videos, etc.
And we have like 30 people in on that day playing games.
And me and Louise are also applying to rent a new property.
Roommates.
Roommates, high five. Which has also been another thing. And it's just a lot of. It's also Louise's birthday next week. Tom get married on Monday.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Which is why I'm actually quite okay with pushing my video back.
Yeah, I think you need to.
Yeah, or else it would have to be due tomorrow on top. Like we just had to. You won't see this because it's in the edit, but we had to like pause Juggz so I could answer a call with the landlords. It's a lot right now.
Yeah, I might I'm not comfortable with not putting up a video because the last video I put out was a clanger for Beast of Chaos.
Yeah.
A clanger.
I don't put another one. But thankfully we're making this video and then we get to go through some questions.
Ooh.
Yes.
We've had questions from the Patreon, which we're going to read out.
Yes.
Or I'm going to read out.
Are the questions
cool.
like for us or like all of us?
I'm going to read through them. We're going to see. This is our first Juggz FAQ.
Oh, amazing!
Juggz,
and a buckle in.
I don't know if it's FAQ. First one is from Nurgle Matthew.
We love
Hi,
Nurgle Matthew.
Okay, he said, "What's your favorite milkshake?"
Okay, can I go first?
Banana. Oh, sorry.
I like chocolate.
Oh,
Nice, Peach.
banana.
Mine's salted caramel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rob's
right.
favorite flavor of a lot of things is salted caramel.
Bougie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
true.
one of those flavors that kind of came along like sweet Thai chili.
Yeah.
Liz is a fan of salted caramel. She likes her ice cream with salted caramel.
There you go. Good question. Good question.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
the next question is from Mike. Last name Oxlong. Mike Oxlong. One for all three of you.
Mike Oxlong.
Okay, one for all three of you.
Mike.
Okay, listen, Mike's asked us a question. Let's answer the question, shall we?
Mike.
Right, with Mantic now... With Mantic now over a year into their monthly release of models for 3D printing.
Wait, who with Mantic?
With Mantic are a year into their monthly release of models for 3D printing, Mantic are a miniatures company.
Yeah, we know.
Do you see a future where STL files for a new game come out alongside regular plastic release as standard?
Yes, I think that could be the future.
Is that something you'd want, or you're not bothered?
I think it's something that will happen whether I want it or not.
Okay, interesting.
Because at the moment you can go onto these websites and you can make a character and you can either have it paid for and sent to your house.
Hero Forge and such.
Hero Forge, Eldritch Foundry. Or if you have a 3D printer, you pay a slightly cheaper version of it to get the STL and print as many as you like. I foresee that becoming quite popular, not popular, but more mainstream down as 3D printers become more accessible in the household, like, you know, mobile phones. You never had this kind of shit when I was young.
That was smelting.
No, not when I was smelting. It was a massive thing you carry on your backpack. But yeah, I think it could well be in the far future. No.
So I think for Games Workshop, no.
Because they don't like change.
Because I've talked to them about it before. Well, not Games Workshop, the entire entity, but I've talked to like a manager before when like, it must have been like 5 years ago when 3D printing was becoming more mainstream. Like these creators were starting to pop up on like Patreon and stuff, and people were like, oh, this is really good. I was like, is there ever a future at Games Workshop where like maybe we should start thinking about this now as a company so that in 6 years' time we can be ahead of the game if this starts to become more mainstream, where literally like a Games Workshop will have a 3D printer and they can officially provide a service which is like, oh, are you looking for that individual head? We'll get it on the system of files and we will print that out for you by tomorrow. Like, not even like people buying the STLs to print at home, just like literally Games Workshop approved printers and Games Workshop stores printing Games Workshop products, and they have complete control over it. And they were like, no, I don't think we're ever going to do anything pertaining to 3D printers.
But you got to remember, that's one person's opinion that is probably wrong, because I remember being in a manager's meeting many years ago, and we asked the question, was like, do you ever think we will do like computer games, animated shows, TV things? And they're like, no, we will never license out our products.
They said that?
Yep.
That
was the Tom Kirby era, and all the leadership in that era definitively said, no, we do not trust other people with our IP. And look where we are now.
And now they're just like, ooh.
No, they're just making money.
Well, then I will change mine to maybe.
Okay.
What about you, Rob?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think other game companies, yes. Games Workshop, no.
I think we got a good broad series of answers there.
I with Peachy, I knew about other game companies.
Oh,
yes.
yeah, for sure. But never Games Workshop. Interesting. Okay.
Just, I mean, so Kev probably retires this year.
You think?
I think so. So that's the CEO of Games Workshop.
I would.
Yeah, cash. Yeah, he's going to cash out. CFO retired last year.
Kev, would you like to come on our Juggz?
Yeah, this is an invitation to Kev.
Unless I bring my chocolate balls out for him like I did last time.
He loves it. He's allergic to chocolate.
Well, yeah, some.
Oh no, he told me he was like allergic.
Anyway. I offered him a chocolate ball.
Has anyone have probably killed Kev around
Kev.
Sorry, Kev.
Next one from Justin Bedford. Shout out to Justin. 2024 has seen the release of many war games, AOS, 4th Ed, Warcry, Old World, to name a few. Things certainly don't seem to be slowing down, and we should expect a similar bombardment of new systems.
Your speaking should slow down.
This is a super long one.
Oh, okay.
How does the community tackle the fact that games are released very fast and it takes you a long time to build and paint them, is the quick TLDR.
Stop worrying about FOMO and just play what you like, because that was the problem I had when I was in marketing, was there was this organized fun and this forced narrative of like, you must now get excited about the new thing. I was like, I don't want to get excited about that. I have no interest in that. I like Warcry and I like Necromunda. I want to talk about that because I'm passionate about it. No, you must talk about this thing you're not passionate about and don't know anything about. I was like, but I don't want to do that, because that just gives...
That's not your hobby.
How's about you get the people that are passionate about that to talk about that?
Correct.
And I talk about the thing I'm passionate about, which is why my channel is now Frostgrave, Stargrave, Silver Bayonet,
and it's
some Warcry.
flourishing.
And it's flourishing. And I think it's such a... I don't understand. I do understand it because it makes money and there's a lot of different broad spectrums out there.
And it's cool to see new stuff. But it's just too
much. Yeah. It's just, even the staff agree, it's just too much. It's like, it's just so, by the time you've got into this new product, it's already changed the rules. Yeah. So it's like,
or they're pushing you to be interested in the next product.
Yeah, and it's just insane.
So I feel the exact same way. So because we basically had the same job. And every Friday we do a live thingy where we talk about, it was essentially what they call like the Sunday previews, but live.
Yeah.
And I quite liked it. I am someone who gets excited over Warhammer. It's very different from my hobby because I paint very slowly and I have very niche interests within what I actually paint. But I did enjoy like looking at all the new releases and stuff. So when I left, I was like, one thing I'm really going to miss is just like being able to talk about all the new stuff every week. And I just didn't. Yeah. Because I was like, it's really cool being able to see the new stuff first and to always know what's coming out and to know every week there's this cool miniature. I quite enjoyed that. It was quite hype for me. And I really thought I'd miss it. And then I just didn't.
Interesting point. Yeah. They're not on, I don't think they're on live anymore. You won't be able to see them on the
they
VODs.
might do live again.
But some of the most popular videos were where we were just sitting talking shit.
Yes.
And when you have like the videos like, you must talk about this thing that's on the marketing webpage, it's like, why talk about the thing that's on the marketing webpage? It's the same information. Yeah, but you must show that you're excited about it. No one watched them.
I mean, we were supposed to be marketing, but the way we like to market is very genuine.
Just get excited. People just get excited about you being excited about what you're excited about.
Yeah.
That was a lot of excitement in that
I thought I'd miss the kind of new release hype. I really didn't.
What's your thoughts?
I just, it's cool to look at new miniatures and to occasionally find one that you like, but I don't get the temptation to buy it all. But I don't know if like I'm unusual for that because I think a lot of people do.
I agree.
What do you think about that?
I think I had a really good conversation with my friend once, Sinise, and we did this show during lockdown. We talked about the difference between like pleasure and joy, and like the fact that you go to Games Workshop or whatever hobby store, you pick up a box of minis or a pack of cards, you play Magic or whatever, and then you get like, yay. Right, and it's like
you like a little Necromunda treat when you go to Warhammer World.
Exactly, but like the joy, like, is really hard one. Like that little like endorphin burst.
Is that the joy or the pleasure?
No, that's the pleasure. Like, and then the joy is like much harder to attain.
Oh yeah, because that's you working and finding joy in the thing that you've brought, which instantly brought you pleasure, right?
Yeah. Just you got the gratification, then you got to do the work to get the kind of like long-term joy out of it. Yeah. Whether or not that's learning the rules, whether or not that's painting the mini,
or an army.
No, I see that.
Or an army. Yeah, like that takes time. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't begrudge absolutely anybody in like they have a hard day, they're sad, like whatever, and they just go to the store, they buy the thing that makes them happy.
Guess what? It's Gundam right now. That's so relatable.
Yeah.
Little sweet treats, right? Little treats.
I recognize that there's a certain like difference between like discipline and like, but the world's tough.
Yeah.
Like people's lives are tough, so I don't begrudge them anything. So if there's
I feel so happy every time I buy a little Gundam that I'm probably never going to assemble.
Exactly.
But I love it.
Right. So, but if there is a way for people to feel a bit of joy or happiness, then I don't begrudge them that, and I recognize that. But if anyone's got the time and energy, I'm not saying you have to take a moment to kind of self-reflect and then be like, you don't need to buy into the FOMO. You don't need to. If you are a part of that,
what if the product's going away really quickly? That's the problem.
Well, yeah, no, I recognize that. Like
that makes it,
some people call it. Some people describe that as predatory, but like it does also. It also sometimes is just like a part of like what people need and want. Yeah. Right. And so I'm not here to say that like I'm not here to like say you're in a hole.
You're in a cult.
Yeah, or whatever. I'm here to say take some time for yourself and ask yourself
what actually brings you joy in the hobby.
Yeah, like,
as opposed to
that's
smart.
Yeah, and that's a really hard thing to do. It's also really hard, like, the latest cool things coming out and everyone else is getting it.
Yeah, FOMO.
Like you feel like you're left behind. That's sad. Like, so, you want to be hyped with everyone else. There's a load of feelings mixed in with it.
And you don't want to be left out at the end. Like, if it's like this miniature, which goes away soon, or you think is going to sell out, and then it does, it's sad.
It can also feel really sad, like, so let's say, like, the new game comes out, like Old World, right? And you're going to paint your Bretonian army, but you're going to do all different heraldry. It's going to take you months, maybe even a year.
Yeah.
And then you start reading online, and like 2 weeks in, someone's like, Pegasus Knights are too good. And you're like, I haven't even built mine yet. The world's biggest event, and someone's won it with your Tomb Kings. And you're like, I didn't get a chance. I haven't even painted my, like, you feel like you've missed out on the process.
Yeah,
but it's exactly like you said, Peach. Just find the thing you enjoy. And also, Louise, relating to your video, just do the thing you want to do at your pace.
Yeah.
And don't engage, not don't engage, but don't use other people's.
Don't feel pressurized.
Don't use other people's metrics. And someone got upset with me talking about the other week where I talked about success as a metric. You define your own success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
success for me is happiness, right?
Yeah.
Success for me is a pool of money. A pool.
Well, like Scrooge McDuck.
Louise's Patreon.
So there's this please God no. There's this account I'm following on TikTok right now, and it's this guy that makes the most beautiful swimming pools, and I love swimming, and I really want a swimming pool
made out of gold.
Made out of gold, and that's just necessary. So
okay,
anyway.
The next question is from Full Metal Turtle.
Oh, nice.
Full Metal Turtle asks, you've each been on or have hosted an assortment of podcasts.
Yes.
What made you settle on your current trifecta of buddies?
I settled for Pete. No, I'm joking. It's so mean. Well, I definitely said, no, this feels cruel. I can't say I settled for Rob or Peach.
Yeah.
So Peachy, our friendship. I don't know.
It's fake. It's not real.
Yeah,
We're just doing it for camera.
Yeah, it's definitely fake. We're off camera. We're just like, get away from me.
When I was at workshop, all the times I had the most fun was when I worked with you.
Definitely.
Every time I did live when Rob was there, it was always good fun.
Yeah.
I missed out doing the chats when I left the painting phase and when I finished at Warhammer TV, when we used to do chats and stuff like that.
We used to stream as well, which kind of filled that void a little bit too.
So get an opportunity just to get together and just talk nonsense.
I really like working with you, Peachy. I used to call
That's
you
what she said when she came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally, like I used to call Peachy my emotional support Peach because I'd be presenting really badly in front of the camera, like getting all my... Well, here's the thing, Peachy. Not when you were in the room. So you wouldn't know. So I would request Peachy to be like, can you come sit in for 5 minutes? And then suddenly I'd be doing really well because I would just relax because my friend was there.
Yeah, it was the pressure of that bowl guy. Yeah. It was that little Eggman.
The little Eggman in the corner.
Yeah,
dance, Eggman, dance.
English One Punch Man is here.
English One Punch Man. But anyway, I know I always felt just like you have a good vibe. You have a really...
You do have a good vibe.
I have a good vibe.
Yeah, and I think other people really pick up on you having a good vibe as well.
That's good. I don't know what that vibe is. So
I feel very lucky to have you as my friend. And Rob's all right too. How about you,
but
Rob?
He's just your roommate, isn't he? So
good.
How did you settle on us?
You had no choice.
Why me, Rob?
I think both of you need a more informal platform to be able to people get, because I think you're both wonderful. And I think people need an informal platform to hear, like, because in your presented stuff, you're not going to pick up all these things.
No.
And also, I think I love like the gaming community that I've developed, but I think already we've had Joe on, we Max, Tina, we've had all these. I mean, Andy Warlock, we had all these great human beings already on the show who got to talk about. And what's nice is I think all of them would come back.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And it's not like any of them are probably going to move out of the gaming industry, the miniatures industry ever, and neither are we.
Yeah.
And I think what's nice is we can build and develop like a real community atmosphere of people who we all think are great.
And who feel comfortable coming and hanging out and talking to us as well, which is really important to me because I am socially awkward, but I like it when people are happy and doing things around me and stuff. So I don't know. I'm in reflection, I'm very happy to be doing Juggz.
Same.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah, and I think you're both
question.
great. And I've shared experiences of Peach being wonderful to me, and obviously Louise is wonderful. So easy peasy. Peach?
Easy peasy.
So it's like I said, it was it's something I really enjoy doing. I like hanging with you two anyway.
Yay.
But it gets me out of the house because I do get a bit cabin feverish. And
I was just thinking about this today, actually, because you're in the house with a kid and it's also roasting.
It's roasting.
And also consider, Peachy's office is in his house.
Yeah.
So it's not like me and Rob where we have our out of office studio. You are always welcome to come work here.
Yes. No, I think that I might need to do that from time to time.
Please.
The only problem that I have is I take my lad to school, need to pick him up because my wife works at a school, so she has to be at school at a certain time. She has to leave at a certain time. Whacking that bastard. So it makes sense for me to do the pickup and the drop off. But then for a good portion of the day, there's no other humans to talk to. So it gets a little bit. And I've spoken to Ruby a few times. I need to engage in my patrons a lot more than I do.
I
don't think no. So I do Patreon posts, but I don't like go on Discord and talk to them enough.
Oh, I do. They're my
because you're busy
emotional
working.
support.
Well, this is the problem. Is
well.
I get into this frame of mind. Like Monday to Thursday is just film.
Yeah.
Video goes out on Friday, and I'm like, I can just sit and chat. I could shit and chat, but I prefer to sit and chat if that's okay.
Yeah, but it feels like something you would want to do, therefore not work, therefore you shouldn't be doing it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm quite hands-on with my talking to my Discord, but I am inspired by you going to make a Patreon post today to be like, my video is going to be late, it's because of this, but I'm really excited because I love it when I get little email notifications about it. My emails are always open, and like it works. Like as one of your Patreons, I'm like, ooh, an email from Peachy. Oh, I love it. So I'm gonna do the same, inspired by you. And I think it's good for us to kind of like have that kind of system of checking with three other content creators as well.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is really cool
because you're both super smart.
There was another question in here. I'm trying to find it again.
Do you remember what it says?
I don't know. I do remember what it says. I'm just trying to make sure I get it correct. But the question was basically from Emily B. Shout out to Emily.
Emily B.
Question for all three of us. In Gangs of New York style street brawl, whose Discord server community would win?
Definitely Rob's. Mine is too nice.
Mine's got a lot of Sean Bean fans guaranteed to die.
I'm out. Yeah, mine is like I found a cricket today, but I'll spoil the picture in case anyone's scared of cricket. And everyone's like, we're not scared of crickets, but thank you for.
I do actually. You know what? Potentially mine because in my Discord and my Patreon there is a guy who's a tank commander.
Oh
wow!
So he'll just bring the regiment.
He can just one shot everyone in my beautiful little Discord full of the most delightful humans I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And Rob.
Mm-hmm.
What about your Discord, Rob?
They would win.
They would win.
They're lunatics.
Yeah.
There's zero doubt in my mind.
Is it like when we asked Joe who he'd bring to a raccoon fight and he just started picking all the dumbest boys he could find because the dumbest boys would definitely be the strongest and would win?
That's exactly. Shout out to my Discord. You know who you are. Yeah, you're a problem.
Good question.
Okay, yeah, great question. So Dan Spencer said, what is one of your favorite gaming memories? Ooh. I shared mine before. I don't want to go over it again because it made me quite sad. But I had a lovely experience once where I ended up playing a game with someone who was having a tough time, and then years later it turned out that that specific game had been really helpful for them during that very tough time in their life, and then they kind of regaled me with that story later on when they're in a much better place. And it really made me conscious to, whenever I'm playing a game, make sure I don't know where someone's at in their life. So to try and be as nice as I can during my games.
Make a good game whenever you can, right?
Yeah, try and make that experience as nice as possible so that they can have because I might be drastically changing someone's life and I don't know. That was my game experience. It was lovely.
Mine is when I first met Rob and he made my life extremely uncomfortable. To turn this around from someone with Rob making their lives very comfortable to someone. Okay. So it was the first time I'd ever played a game on Warhammer TV.
Yeah.
And it was it's not really the gaming moment. It kind of happened after the game. But the first time I ever properly met Rob was when I played a game on Warhammer TV. Rob was streaming it. I didn't want to go on camera because I was too nervous and shy. And Rob was like, that's not a problem. Of course, I totally respect that. You don't have to do it at all. And then it came to the end of the game. I won. It was really good fun. And then Rob was like, oh, come over here. I just want to ask how the game went so I can summarize it to everyone on camera. So I shuffle in next to him in his little streaming booth and he's like, and we're in. And you can see my face.
That's so cruel.
Because Rob just had a job to do.
That's not why. That's not why. I understood what I was dealing with.
What do you mean you understood what you were dealing with? What do you mean?
The easiest way sometimes, it was actually surprising when I was doing Warhammer TV how many people felt very, very uncomfortable. And they kind of shared that with me. They were like, oh, I'm feeling really uncomfortable beforehand. And I was like, yeah, I get that. But the secret sauce is
don't fucking give them a choice.
Because it's just like ripping off a plaster. Just like, you're in. And they'd be like, oh. Because the anxiety is almost predicated on anxiety and fear is almost predicated on thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking about it. So the more I would give them space and time to think about it, the more it would build up.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, now we're doing it. Therefore,
it's happening now, so you just have to deal with it. Yeah.
I did not like you on that day.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it was really cute though, because there was like an audio glitch after it happened where Rob went back to like the holding screen, but he didn't turn off the mics, and you can hear him trying to comfort me and me being like, you can hear me like shrieking and Rob being like, that wasn't so bad, was it? So that's one of my like standout, whilst it didn't happen in the game, I think I would still, that's one of the games that I remember very much because you bastard. Anyway, Peachy, what's yours?
I kind of got two, and they both revolve around like recorded or live.
Okay.
So there was doing the campaign with Rob Crouchley.
Yeah.
Because that is my peak way of playing games, was to play a game, not worry about the result, but drive the narrative. And then having that validation of like other people enjoying that as well as like, you know, like Rob Crouchley enjoying him then doing like weird sort of like add-ons after, and you know, like he's going to go off and buy this kit, I'm going to go off and buy that kit. This then adds to the story. That's how I've always played my game. So I've always thought it was a bit weird, and you know, everyone does these sort of, you know, I've got this set stuff for a tournament, you've got that set stuff for a tournament. We all know our rules in and out. Where I'm just like, I just want to tell a story. I just want to tell a story. And it was quite nice doing that, and then being invited back to do it again. Like,
people really liked it, especially.
Well, I mean, I think it was validating for me that it's not the wrong way to play. It's just a way to play.
And you over lockdown, I think if I can give you one of your gaming moments, you over lockdown like crafting an entire like scene out of like a box,
cardboard box.
Yeah, blowing everyone's mind, and people just absolutely loving it, and you coming into your own
it's a shame
there.
it
I think that was great
because it would compete with Warhammer Plus. From what I found out.
Apparently.
a cardboard box.
Well, to be honest,
and two Razor Kios.
I was painting out of a wet palette made of a Chinese takeaway lid.
Yes, you were.
So,
but you did have a £40,000 backdrop at that point.
Did.
So
oh my god,
which
they then said they were no longer going to use because of only hands.
Let's do Warhammer Plus nightmare stories on Patreon.
I was gonna do a video which was like rating my Warhammer Plus tutorials.
Oh,
which
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's not like obviously not rating anyone else's work and not like shitting on it or anything, but just how I feel about it.
I would rate my videos, and the content is fine. The introductions, the outros, shit.
Oh no,
shockingly, because I was a robot. I was like, hello.
Can you do a video which is like your worst moments on Warhammer TV?
I could.
I mean, you could both do them.
No, but I didn't have enough. Right? I only had like 30 episodes. I was only doing it for like a year.
Hundreds.
But weren't you also live streaming?
Oh god, you're right. Yeah, no.
And those will probably be gone now. Those VODs will probably be gone.
Fortress.
Blackstone Fortress.
Fun. I was so ill. I
never even knew that.
I felt
so guilty.
Me and Dan Bradshaw were like absolutely downing Lemsip on that day, just suffering. Anyway.
Ricky drinks paint.
Ricky
question,
drinks paint.
Question for everyone. What was your last hobby blunder? Mine was shaking a contrast paint and the cap not completely sealed for it to go everywhere.
Easy peasy.
What's yours?
I just completely disregarded advice that I'd seen hundreds of times on the internet, and then it went wrong.
Oh.
So for my Gundams, I was like, I want to try panel lining. Panel lining's cool. So I did a bunch of looking into panel lining, and loads of people use like the Tamiya panel liner, which looked like it had the most satisfying videos, right? Mm-hmm. Like the most, like it's just like you touch it and it's like whoosh, your lines are paneled, your panels are lined.
Yeah, perfect.
Excuse me. And so I was like, I'm going to buy that. And it's quite expensive stuff. So I bought like the dark gray color, and I was like, ooh, a little treat. But every single time I watch one of those videos, just massive capital letters, do not apply this straight onto your Gundam miniature. It will crack the plastic.
Interesting.
Right? And I was like, shut.
Ignore that
so they were
advice.
like, you have to like like do a spray coat of it first. I hate like varnishing miniatures because it always just goes wrong for me. So I'm like, I don't need to do that. I started doing it on a foot, and then I let it dry like you're supposed to. Cracks. instantly cracked the plastic.
Oh,
like,
no.
And I don't know why I thought like it
If
won't
only there
happen
was some
to
sort
me.
of sign that might happen.
Literally, because like it was like the shocked Pikachu phase. Because I was like, oh, because like you hear about it, it's like being like, look both ways before you cross the street. Like who's got time for that?
Who's got time for that?
Like who's got like literally
Everyone, hopefully.
But you know what I mean? Like I just for some reason I was like, that seems unlikely that it'll crack. This plastic seems pretty tough. I'll show you in a minute. Like you can see because I was trying to remove.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah, literally. Like I was trying to remove this little bit of it, and I'm like, why isn't it coming off? Because it cracked the plastic and then seeped into it.
That's insane.
It's wild. So maybe if hundreds of people say don't do a thing, maybe don't do it, and look both ways when you cross the street. Peachy, your turn.
Quite recent, very recent, in fact. I have some lovely super glue that I bought from Screwfix, quite large tubs. I did the schoolboy error of not wiping one well enough when it was done with, round the nib. Super glued the lid to said bottle. And the other one I didn't close enough, so when I was transporting it back from an event, it linked into the box and glued all my files and everything together.
Is this recently?
This is very recent.
No.
I opened the box and went, oh shit.
It smells so bad.
It had so
Had it dried?
It was a spare carry case. In one corner is just a big dollop of glue.
Oh dear.
Fused is the word I'd use. Into that corner are a couple of model files, a knife.
Oh no.
My Swan Mortar knife.
Oh,
I'm
no.
so distraught by that.
That's pretty bad.
So yeah, I was an idiot, and they were in a little baggie as well.
Yeah.
but the baggie wasn't closed properly either.
Yeah.
So everything I did, just idiot.
Okay,
Oh.
Rob, what about you? Hobby blunder.
I mean, obviously, my greatest hobby blunder was obviously slap chop.
I agree. I agree.
Greatest hobby blunder. But
That's fine. That's fine.
an adult human being came up to me today and thanked me for helping them paint. That was
But like
couldn't be
recently,
a bigger fraud.
That's what
Couldn't
you've
be a
done.
bigger fraud.
One you've done recently.
But my most recent one was obviously
building
just
8 pigs.
was building eight
Building
pigs.
8 pigs. That's
Building eight-
completely
was committing
fair.
to my hobby and actually doing it. It was just actively
You
doing the hobby, building
idiot.
miniatures, which are rubbish.
Which you thought were cool. You absolute spanner.
I'm just so glad I didn't paint them. I'm just so glad we didn't go through with that. And also, Slap Chop is great. You've helped so many people paint and
love
get
it.
past the fear of painting. Do not put yourself down. I will
It's
not
the
have it.
name that
Not on my
people
watch.
just get silly
Yeah,
about.
name's the best
People are
bit.
going to get silly about anything.
Yeah,
They
true.
think Rob purposefully rebranded it for his own game, and
did.
not just that he has one
I did.
brain
That's why.
cell.
That's why. Then, what's it?
Never did it again, even
never
though
did
it
it
was
again.
the most popular thing ever. Yeah,
And then what was the other thing? I copyrighted it, obviously.
yeah. They think he.
That's where I
also
buy all
did
these
that.
shirts from.
Yeah.
Like all my slap chop
It's
money.
that slap chop money, baby.
The millions piling in.
Anyway,
Okay, next question. From Daryl Adams. So with the lore of the
Daryl
Juggz cinematic universe, the JCU,
the JCU.
the JCU still developing, what has been the weirdest, funniest revelation revealed so far? That Peachy was a 4-year-old smelter.
I was going to say that Peachy was a 4-year-old smelter.
Okay, perfect.
That we all suffered like mass delusions of mythical creatures.
No,
and
we
Rob
didn't all. Yeah, okay.
I've learned so much about myself just listening to you talk. And Mrs. Peach has said that
Yeah.
I didn't, because I'm like, to me, that's normal. And I feel
Yeah,
weird.
me too. Yeah.
And I don't talk about
what's it
it.
called? The maladaptive daydreaming.
Maladaptive daydreaming.
Yes.
Never knew there was I just thought I was just a bit weird and everyone thought that. And there's no point discussing
it's
it because
the thing.
everyone thinks that.
It's a thing. It is a Googleable thing, and whether or not it's like it should be called something or
You told me about something and I forgot what it's called. But
sleep paralysis.
Well, the sleep paralysis I get.
Not even that.
But there's something on top of that, which I get every now and again when I'm sleeping and I'm about to drop off. I get this a massive electric bolt in my head and I get like a burst of light.
It's called
And
exploding head syndrome.
Exploding head syndrome. I knew you remember it because she told me once when we were...
Because I get exploding head syndrome too. We're quite
Insane.
similar in our
insane.
syndromes and ways.
We are weird.
That's true.
What about you, Rob? What's your biggest... Oh, you already said Peachy the 4-year-old smelter. Yeah, easy. Easy peasy.
4-year-old
Next question.
Cracked me up. Absolutely ripped me to pieces. Like,
Just with this little flat
invaluable.
cap, just smoking.
I think a lot of people's favorite episode was when Tina came on the show.
Oh,
She's
Tina was
come
great.
back.
Yeah.
But I think at that
I like
point,
that this is like
I
a
think
clip
I'll leave.
show.
I won't be there for that. I'm just going to click record and leave. And I'll be like, look, I'll edit that later.
I'll see you later, guys. Have a good time.
Have a good time. You
Speaking
don't
of which,
need
Tina-
me.
I'm going to do some Square-based
come back
content.
on our
See you in a
channel.
minute.
I'm not needed. For Louise, can
Yeah,
you
oh, me.
recommend a role-playing game for a group of geographically distributed friends who have never played a role-playing game?
Ooh. Honestly, any role-playing game you can play over Zoom. Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Discord, yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's like one you can play online. Like maybe like
it's all about the people, right?
Yeah, but like maybe Baldur's Gate, right?
That would be a great choice. Yeah, just play Baldur's Gate.
Just play Baldur's Gate because it's so customizable. It's a great system because I'd just be like D&D, but it's just like elevated D&D.
And also, the question is never played a role game, and that teaches you most of how everything works.
Literally.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said that I really like. It's like I'm trying to get Rob to play VR chat with me more often because I love it.
Is this your lounging space marine?
Yeah. But there's something to be said about actually playing and interacting with things that you can see. Like, and it's your friends and you have voice chat and stuff. So I would say try Baldur's Gate because it's just so fun. And even the character creation, like you can cut right to describing your character and just have it there. And people could be like, oh, that's so cool. So maybe that.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Yeah, that's a great question. Peach, for Peachy, it's always interesting to hear about your time working in retail. Any more interesting stories you can share?
We had loads on the weekend. Just pick any of those.
There's so many weird ones. I mean, what? God, I don't know where to start because there's like 6 years of like just nonsense. I think, you know what? I've got a couple.
Duncan and the Exploding Cabinet.
Duncan.
That's one of my favorites.
Both of these include Duncan, right?
Okay, all right.
They always include Duncan.
So, Drunken Roads.
Stop calling him that.
That's why he's in my phone as.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
he doesn't even go out.
When I joined the marketing department, there was just like 3 really sad people. Shout out to Laura. Laura, Doug, and Roger. And I was like, okay, I reckon like at least 2 of these are salvageable. So
humans?
Yeah, and I was like, I reckon I can make this a little bit more of an enjoyable experience to be around every day. Laura, it turns out, is absolutely hilarious. She just was keeping her head down, as you would. And then I was like, I can like this fella. Like
what, Duncan?
Yeah, old Drunken Roads. I reckon I can get some fun out of him. It was hard. I won't lie. Yeah, but we got there.
Yeah,
we got there.
So you just decided to call him Drunken Roads?
Yeah, was that
the bit?
Didn't he get that nickname once when he went to like Adepticon or something like that because he had 1 beer in a meeting?
Yeah. Imagine.
Yeah, so I started calling him Drunken Roads.
That seems like not a way to have fun.
I got him on Twitter. That was a funny little story.
Oh, you got him to like make a Twitter account?
I got him to make a Twitter account.
You did?
And then what was really fun, because then you got Twitter after that. Because
I made a deal with him because you were on about it. Yeah. And I made Twitter before he made Twitter.
Yes.
And I'd had it for a month and I'd got 100 followers. Duncan did it in a day and got about 10,000.
Which is a funny story. Which is a really funny story because like I set it up for him. And then he came in the next day, like honestly, like white. And he was just like handing me to it's like the Palantir. And he was like, make this stop buzzing. Because he got like 10,000 followers. And I forgot to turn off like email me and notify me every time you get a follower. So he was livid. But thankfully it had 9 pints.
Anyway, that's a good Duncan story. Your turn.
My turn. Okay, the Exploding Cabinet. So in retail, you would have 2 days off a week. You couldn't really take them at weekends because that was your busiest time. However, you could get away with taking Sundays off, right? So it was summer holidays. I took a Sunday off. I was sharing a house with my brother. No, it wasn't. I was actually, it was in Spondon. Yeah. So I was living where I am now with Mrs. Peach. We had a day off because she also worked during the week and we tried to try and get at least 1 day at the weekend off together.
That's nice,
right?
Yeah.
That was the plan, to try and get a day together as family. And I was having a bit of a lie-in and I got a phone call from Duncan and he was like, Chris, the cabinet's exploded and there's glass everywhere and there's kids bleeding. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? How is a cabinet exploded? Why are the kids?
Why are the children bleeding?
Right, that there's glass everywhere. This is my vision. There's kids with shards of glass embedded in their shoulders, in their face.
Amazing.
You know, it's like an explosion. It's like, you come into a scene of like a catastrophic disaster, right? So I rock up on my motorbike as fast as I can, probably broke a couple of speed limits, which was naughty, but there's kids bleeding. Don't know why he's not called the ambulance and the fire brigade by this point, but hey, it doesn't matter. I rock up, one shelf has dropped, the side of the wall has come off a bit because it's one of these cabinets where it has like a wooden lid, and the kid's got a little cut on his finger. I was so angry. I was so
Duncan.
angry. And it's
He was
like,
only a baby.
Did you breathalyze him?
I have got another story which I feel really bad about. So
I'd like you to know this is all for comedic effect. Douglas doesn't have a drinking problem and has never been inappropriate in that. It's a joke.
I really has because I've been out of him. But yeah.
Oh my god. Anyway,
So I've got another story.
Yeah.
Duncan would often go out of our little clique of birds. Some of them were retail staff, some were friends of the retail staff. And there was one day, it was like a Friday, and it was the Christmas delivery. The Christmas delivery would always be dumped outside your shop by the UPS driver because they couldn't be bothered to wait. So I had 50 boxes outside the shop full of product. Waiting for me when I arrived up. Right?
Like yoink.
So I got up and I was like, where's Duncan? Duncan rings and go, oh, I'm really ill. I can't make it. And he did the voice.
I'm sick.
And I was like, dude, I've got the Christmas delivery. I need you in. I can't do this on my own. There's 50 boxes out there. I've got 2 customers in waiting to be served. I need to come down. In my head, I was like, he was out on the Raz last night, wasn't he? He was out on the Raz because he's drunken Rose. And I was like, no, he was like saying, I've got food poisoning. I'm not feeling very well. I was like, dude,
come on.
You need to come in. He comes in. The guy was green. I felt so bad.
Oh, you terrible.
I felt so bad. I was like, go home.
Peachy.
Can you just keep an eye on the shop while I have a quick peek? Go home.
Oh, no, he wasn't faking it.
No, he wasn't faking it. And I felt so bad.
Oh, bless.
But from that day onwards, I trusted Duncan's word when he said he was ill.
All right, I'm going to round us off. There are a bunch more questions.
We can do those on the Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, we could. This one is from Drew because I think it's a fun one to end us all on. Fun question for all 3. What are the top 2 or 3 things you would do if you were the Games Workshop new CEO?
Ooh.
Pay rise for everyone. That goes above
Inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And not just bonuses, which you then... The problem with the bonuses, even though they're obviously great...
Oh, they felt great. Like, once a year, getting like $2,000 felt really nice.
I mean, I think this year it was like 4 or 5.
Yeah,
but the problem is
great.
that is not a wage that you can... A bonus isn't like, this is how much I get paid annually. You're like, I get paid this much sometimes with a bonus. And therefore, it's harder to get rent agreements and it's harder to get mortgage agreements. So that's actually should just be baked into your wages.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I apologize.
No,
So great one.
And
good one.
I've got one more thing I'd do as well, which is whether I have a trusted cabal of staff around me, my other execs, or try in the first month or even before the first month, is go and sit in each department and listen. And find out why people have beef, and then discover that all middle managers are useless and get rid.
I was gonna say that too. One of mine was gonna just be like, find out like who's saying that who en masse is a terrible manager, and actually investigate it.
Why are they a terrible manager?
Yes,
is it
literally.
because your staff you don't like being told, or is it because they're shit?
If every single department has a horror story about a particular person, don't ignore that.
Correct.
Right?
No, that's the best thing to do. Just because when the flag's pointing at you, you can't see that red flag, can you?
It's hard. Yeah, it seems so obvious to like belittle people, I guess, but like it's so wild the way people are protected. If I was a brand new CEO and I didn't have any loyalties or anything like that, I'd just be like, HR. Who's getting, like, what are the most complaints being put towards? Who are these people? Let's do a proper investigation and let's make this a nice environment to work where no one turns up and has to feel scared. On top of that, I would just bring back celebration of the creatives. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Crediting but the appropriate protection that comes with that if you think it's necessary. And bring back like Warhammer fests, which are grand, which like celebrate creatives where you can talk to people and stuff like that. That's 2 things. And then, I don't know, make a miniature with my face on it. And then credit myself for sculpting
or get
it.
the statue out the side with your face on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you?
Go
Rob?
real. Go.
Now that we're crediting artists,
Number 1, give myself a massive pay rise.
Good for you. Golden pool. Yes.
I would probably very much like both of what you said. Like I like all of those things. Obviously, pay everyone more money.
Love
I think
that.
probably the best institutional change.
Union.
A union would be great. But I think probably the best institutional change that could be made is change it from a shareholder business to a stakeholder business.
I don't really know what that means.
Basically, what it means is like shares. A company is made up of shares and people own the company.
Yeah, but anyone can.
But anyone, yeah. So you could just be like, Billy somewhere in the world and he owns some shares. I'm buying
millions of shares.
Exactly.
Therefore, I have some say in things.
There's a lot of talk on the internet about how some companies own a lot of shares in Games Workshop and they're having some influence. I don't necessarily believe that that's true.
Okay, so what's the problem? What's the diff?
The difference is between a shareholder and a stakeholder is a stakeholder works there.
Oh, okay.
So
so if they get paid out the dividends, it's not just going to some random person who hasn't worked at the company. At least it's going to someone who has put effort into the thing that they're getting money back from.
Also, you can vote, right? So do this year, do we want to get slightly less dividends to everyone as stakeholders, but we want to invest in a new factory so we can deliver more, those sorts of things. This is a bit pie in the sky, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of YouTube comments where Rob's a commie, but that's
is Rob a commie?
I mean, look at his t-shirt.
That is pretty freaking commie.
Yeah, but ultimately, maybe not more than other companies. That's disrespectful. Here I am dressed like a DHL worker. It's a company of people who don't get to own the thing that they create. And while all labor is the same, the concept is that's your mini that you sculpted. That's your paint job that you did. That's your art that you drew. And I know you get a wage for that. Yeah. But I do think that if those people could own a bit of that business as well, I think also you would end up with a better product for me as a consumer. People would I don't not say necessarily want to work harder, but they'd be like, do you know what? They're incentivized to do better in the business because it's their business.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's just some job,
it's like what we're doing now. Everything we do is an impact on our business. If we don't do it right, it's going to have a massive negative effect, right?
So you're more invested.
Yeah, exactly.
You work more.
Well, this is what I meant by I'm glad that I got pushed out my comfort zone because I've made a better product. Because I wouldn't care if it just went into the void or whatever. If it was for a company that I didn't personally care about, of course I care because I worked at Games Workshop. But if it was for Sainsbury's, maybe I wouldn't care so much, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would also make them do. The one other change I would make is I'd make it so that the stores became gaming centers again.
Ooh.
Where and I would invest the money. I would just see them as a loss leader, so that the business that the purpose of those stores was to have people playing games, interacting, socializing. And I know Peachy would be like, that's really hard, but I would also want to resource those people to do that, right? Because I think that is one of those things,
creating little pockets of community around the product.
It's kind of crazy that I know a store manager has a lot of jobs.
I mean, I'm very lucky because I came from Aberdeen store, which is the second biggest Games Workshop in the UK apart from Warhammer World.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it was 18 tables upstairs, downstairs. Yeah, it's huge.
But now they're almost no tables.
Community. Yeah. Like I said, I was very lucky because my local was massive and did have that gaming community. And guess what? Also one of the most successful Games Workshops in the whole UK. Despite being the second furthest north one.
That's mad.
Who would have thought getting people together playing games would encourage them to want to buy more things to game with?
They love it. Yeah, it's such a great example of that, I think, is the Aberdeen Games Workshop. Hugely successful. I think Baz beat us in Edinburgh with his, but I think it was the second next to Baz in Edinburgh.
Okay.
But yeah, and it just had a great gaming community and loads of tables.
Great ideas.
I'd also make sure that Workshop attended more events as well.
Ooh, that's a good one. So Comic-Con,
Salute, and be more open about it and just have a friendly face there. And
because Comic-Con's a great example because Warhammer Fest is only going to attract current Warhammer fans, but Comic-Con might get new Warhammer fans.
Exactly.
Smart.
I would also, this is another thing to do, I'd also get I don't know how to describe them, maybe a psychologist or a hype man.
A psychologist or a hype man.
But I would just, I would have everyone in the company, especially in the C-suite and the upper management level, and I'd just be sitting them down and be like, okay, what you make is really cool. And they'll be like, no, it's for nerds. I'd be like, no, stop. It's actually cool.
Do you think that they think that.
I don't think that they think it's cool at all.
Really?
That's why they like everything that they release. Like when they release something, they're like, ha ha ha, orcs. And I'm like,
hey, nerd.
Yeah, hey, nerd. Like, and I'm like,
but I don't think that's them thinking that. I think that's them thinking that that's a good self-awareness is a good marketing trend to get behind. But that's what I think it is.
But if it's consistent, it's not self-awareness, because I've never seen them just be like, do you know what's absolutely fucking sick? Do you know what I mean? I haven't. They've just been like
Blood Angels.
Yeah, but Blood Angels are like there are people out there right now who are like Blood Angels. I'm
making a very unironic video about how cool Warhammer lore is right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Right, but they only deal with it like tangentially, hands off, ironically.
Yeah, it's steeped in irony, and I think it was upsetting a few people even within the company that like. In Forge World, they'd be coming up with these very grim, dark miniatures, and they'd be like, look at these little guys. Don't you want to just say that they're called Steve? And then give them a smooch. And they were like, we tried so hard to make them as edgy as possible.
Yeah, like we tried to make these fucking
Jesus
cool.
fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Although I am that guy. I am literally that guy where I'm like Conrad Curse, and I'm like, what a little sweetheart.
Yeah, but
What's
that's fine.
Do?
Like you're allowed to do that. Like I think the company should just be like, this is a cool. Like this is
that's quite a popular opinion. I think even from within the company that they should move.
But it's because there's no self-confidence. That's the issue. I've worked inside their company. They don't believe that their thing is cool. That's the thing. Like their stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Like I like it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to me. Like, and they're like, oh no, people won't want like this is not cool. I'm like,
it's extremely cool.
It's extremely cool.
Good one.
That's it. Right. Okay. So goodbye, everybody.
Oh, we're done. Oh,
yeah. We're done for now.
Quick.
But we will be back for a Patreon exclusive where we'll be answering more questions.
Edgy. More edgy than this.
Which you can find on Patreon if you'd like to join us.
Thank you for joining us.
I need another plop. I've pretty much ate all the plops.
Would you like a plop?
I'm going to eat this entire pack of fudge.
Thank you for coming to our Juggz.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Ploppity plop plop.
Bye.